Chapter 26-27. In the next moment he turned into a stream of light and quickly retreated. This loud voice was naturally from the great dragon sword soul in Lin Xian's body. The great dragon sword soul was an offensive saint technique. Although Lin Xian did not use sword qi, it did not mean that he could not use the power of the great dragon sword soul. His great dragon sword soul could simulate everything. Coupled with the 9 yang divine body, his combat strength was unparalleled. Indeed, in the next moment, a terrifying phantom appeared on his fist and rushed out like a giant dragon. Boom. This punch shattered the sky and sunk the earth. The silver battle monarch's pupils shrank. Damn it. Seeing that there was no way to escape, he could only roar. His body expanded and formed the phantom of a silver giant to fight back. Clang. An earth-shattering sound was heard. It was like a bolt of thunder that pierced through the earth and exploded with unparalleled light. The silver battle monarch took the punch head-on and then kept retreating, shattering the void. His arm was broken. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth and dyed his silver-white body red. What? He was injured? That was impossible. Seeing this, the galactic battle monarch was stunned. There was someone who could injure the silver battle monarch in close combat? This was something that he did not dare to imagine. Damn it. Thinking of this, his face turned gloomy. The other party was too terrifying. He decided to join forces with the other party. His body flashed and he wanted to go over to help. You want to leave? Come and play with me. The dark red dragon's tail was like a heavenly blade that shredded the void and blocked the galactic battle monarch's path. Ruffian dragon, kill them one by one. Lin Xian said coldly from the side. Don't worry, leave it to me. The dark red divine dragon laughed. His body expanded as he rushed forward. You're courting death. Get lost. The galactic battle monarch was furious. He struck out his palm and the stars in the sky spun and enveloped the dark red dragon. If it was an ordinary almighty, they would not be able to resist at all. However, the dark red dragon was extremely terrifying. Once the dragon used its ability, it roared in the void. It fought with the galactic battle monarch. Don't look. Don't expect him to come and save you. Lin Xian said coldly as he looked ahead. White Cloud Battle King coldly snorted. Crackling sounds came from his body as Duan Li's arm was restored. The silver light on his body became even more monstrous. Lines of mysterious runes swam around like silver dragons. It was very mysterious. He said coldly. Do you really think that you can kill me? Don't think that you can be so arrogant in front of me just because you were able to force me back. Let me tell you, I didn't use my full strength just now. Is that so? Lin Xian sneered. Just now, I only used 50% of my strength. What a bunch of nonsense. The Silver Battle King's face darkened. 50% of his strength? What a joke. He didn't believe it. Brat, don't be so eloquent. I'll let you know the consequences of offending me. Silver-white light flickered on his body, and a silver-armored war god appeared on his body, standing tall and upright. Boom, boom, boom. The silver-armored war god lifted his leg and stomped towards Lin Xian. It was as if a silver demonic mountain had descended from the sky. You want to hurt me with a mere illusion? Lin Xian sneered in disdain. His fist turned into a palm and he slapped out. This time, not only did he use the 9 yang divine body, but he also used the great dragon sword soul. The combination of the power of the two terrifying unique skills was truly terrifying to the extreme. Lin Xian's palm transformed into a blazing sun at this moment. It soared into the clouds as if it was going to explode the entire sky. Whoosh boom. This palm was extremely terrifying as it blasted towards the silver foot. In an instant, the silver foot was ignited. Not only that, the silver foot was torn into pieces and the silver light dimmed. The terrifying light pierced through the opponent's foot and headed towards the Silver Battle King. The Silver Battle King also sent out a palm. Their palms collided once again and a shocking light burst out. Boom, the Silver Battle King's palm was first broken, then it exploded and turned into a bloody mist. Not only that, half of the Silver Battle King's body was burned and was completely deformed. He spat out blood once again and was sent flying. He smashed into the ground tens of thousands of miles away, creating a bottomless pit. Whoosh! Lin Xian did not hold back. He stretched out his palm and covered the sky. Under the power of the great dragon sword soul, his 5 fingers turned into 5 huge dragons. They circled around each other and grabbed towards the deep pit below. Green Dragon Hand. When this divine ability was used, it was extremely terrifying. I get lost. The White Cloud Battle King roared. Then, a black light appeared in the sky and turned into a black moon. It went against the Green Dragon Hand in the Sky Palace. The sound of an intense collision was heard. The green dragon hand was blocked. This surprised Lin Xian. The black moon kept spinning and finally formed a black pearl that floated in the sky. That pearl was very special. It was extremely black and emitted a terrifying aura that made people tremble. An ancient artifact. Lin Xian frowned. The aura of the black pearl was very special. It should be something passed down from the ancient times. It seemed that the Silver Battle King was very wealthy. After blocking the Azure Dragon palm, White Cloud Battle Monarch walked out of the rubble. His severed arm had been regenerated. However, his face was extremely pale. That was because he was seriously injured by the previous palm. Fortunately, he had many treasures in his possession, which temporarily suppressed his injuries. However, his eyes were getting colder and colder. Kid, I have to admit that you can defeat me in close combat. How many years has it been? This is the first time. However, you can die in peace. Do you think that I only know how to fight in close combat? At this point, the Silver Battle Monarch formed a mudra with his palms and an ancient silver lamp appeared before him. It was very ancient and there were strange runes on it that flickered. On the mouth of the ancient silver lamp, there was a wisp of silver-white flame that was dancing. It was very evil. However, the power that it emitted was extremely terrifying. Even the dark red dragon in the distance frowned. Damn it, what kind of flame is that? It's that thing. It seemed that the Silver Battle King was really angry. When the Galactic Battle King saw this, his eyes lit up. Humph, he said, you are definitely dead this time. That kid will definitely not be able to block this flame. Whether he can block it or not, it's not up to you. The dark red dragon waved its dragon claws and charged over, clashing with the Galactic Battle King again. On the other side, Lin Xian also frowned. The ancient silver flame also made him feel threatened. Kid, do you know what kind of flame this is? 3,000 spiritual flames. No matter how strong you are, you won't be able to block it. Even an invincible king would not dare to touch this flame. Chapter 26-28. Silver Battle King's sinister voice could be heard. In the next moment, the ancient silver lamp in his hand floated forward. Whoosh! The ancient lamp emitted rays of light. Wisps of silver-white flames floated out from it and floated forward. Poop poop, the void was instantly pierced through and even melted quickly, unable to withstand the power of the flames. There were a total of 6 flames, each the size of a palm. At this moment, they were spinning in the sky and instantly enveloped Lin Xian. Die in peace. Silver Battle King laughed sinisterly. In the distance, Star River Battle King also revealed a smile. Dark red divine dragon's eyelids twitched. What, it was actually the 3,000 white spirit fire. Damn it, why did he have such a thing in his hand? He knew that the flames were terrifying. If there were enough of them, they could even burn an invincible king to death. He wondered if that brat could block it with his 9 young divine body's current power. Lin Xian instantly felt danger. The 6 silver flames were a great threat to him. In an instant, they joined together and enveloped him. Lin Xian did not dodge. Instead, he used his 9 young divine body. He was like a golden god of war, standing in the void and fighting against the 6 silver-white flames. It's useless, you can't block it. Silver Battle King sneered. The 6 silver-white flames exploded with an unparalleled temperature, instantly melting the void around Lin Xian. Black holes appeared one after another. Soon they jumped onto Lin Xian's body. The 6 flames suddenly grew larger, each of them more than 10 meters long, forming a sea of fire that completely enveloped Lin Xian. Everything was over. White Cloud Battle King laughed loudly. As long as he was burned by the flames, he would definitely die. No matter how strong that brat was, he would not be able to resist it. Is this your trump card? It's only a so-so. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. Hearing this voice, Silver Battle King's laughter instantly stopped. His expression became extremely unsightly, and his eyes were wide open. He let out a terrifying gaze. Damn it, this is impossible. How could you still be alive? If the other party was touched by this flame, he should have instantly turned into ashes. However, how could the other party speak? Could it be that the other party had some secret treasure? He was extremely shocked. He guessed that the other party might have a fragment of a saint. If that happened, it would indeed be troublesome. In the distance, Star and Warlord also turned their heads to look. However, in the next moment, the 2 battle kings sucked in a mouthful of cold air. They saw a figure standing within the silver flames, allowing the countless flames to burn him. However, he was like a demon god, not moving at all. No defense? He didn't put up any defenses? Damn it, how is this possible? The 2 battle kings were stunned, especially the silver-white battle king, whose eyes almost popped out of their sockets. He even suspected that his 3,000 spiritual fires had lost their effectiveness. Outside, the two battle kings were shocked. Inside the flames, Lin Xian was wild with joy. He discovered that the silver-white flame contained a very strong energy and was incomparably hot. It was very suitable for tempering his 9-yang divine body. Thinking of this, his eyes shone with a cold light. The next moment he formed a seal with his palms and walked in the silver-white flames that filled the sky. He began to refine his 9-yang divine body. The 9-yang divine body was extremely tough and yang. One of the requirements was that it required extremely strong flames to temper the body. Originally, Lin Xian was having a headache over this matter. He was thinking about where to get those doubts of heaven and earth. However, he didn't expect that not long after he came out, someone would take the initiative to come to him. He had to get that ancient silver-white lamp. Damn it, what is he doing? The Galactic Battle King was shocked when he saw this scene. He was tempering his body. The White Cloud Battle King also screamed. He was an expert in body refinement and had an ancient body refinement technique. He naturally knew what the other party's actions meant. Damn, this brat is really crazy. The dark red dragon's eyelids also twitched. The two battle kings' faces were completely dark. Their trump cards could even injure an invincible battle king. However, in the hands of the other party, it had become a cultivation resource. Damn it. Go to hell. The silver battle king roared and activated the black pearl above his head. It turned into a black sun again and pressed down from the sky. The black pearl emitted 10,000 rays of light and fell from the sky, crushing the void. It wanted to suppress Lin Xian. This was an extremely terrifying power. Clearly, the black bead was also an ancient treasure. However, Lin Xian was extremely powerful. He stretched out his palm and slashed forward like a peerless divine sword. A shocking light soared into the sky and struck the black sun, sending it flying. The heavens fell and the earth cracked. A large crack spread in the sky and the terrifying sword light slashed towards the silver battle king. With the power of Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body, the sword chi from one hand was no weaker than a heaven-grade artifact. The White Cloud Battle King was shocked. He didn't expect a casual sword chi from the other party to be so terrifying. He hurriedly controlled the black pearl to resist. On the other hand, Lin Xian was absorbing the power of the silver flames in an unbridled manner to temper his 9-yang divine body. Finally, mysterious runes appeared on the 9-yang divine body. They quickly rotated and absorbed all the silver flames. Lin Xian roared. His body shone with boundless light. His black hair fluttered in the wind and his eyes emitted a biting cold aura. To be honest, this kind of cultivation was extremely painful for him. However, with his tenacious character he forcefully endured it. Because he knew that this was the only way for his 9-yang divine body to evolve and break through. Kill. He roared and tore through the void. Sword light and terrifying fists filled the sky as he quickly attacked. Damn it. The Silver Battle King once again activated the Black Pearl and the Silver Ancient Lamp to resist. Lin Xian waved his hand and the Dragon Sword domain surged out. It transformed into an azure dragon and clashed with the Black Pearl. As for himself, he charged towards the Silver Battle King. This antique lamp of yours is really a good item. Now leave it to me. Lin Xian waved his hand and tore through the void, firmly locking onto the Silver Ancient Lamp. Damn brat scram. The Silver Battle King was furious. This was his treasure. How could he allow it to be given to someone else? However, after a great battle, his arm was directly torn apart. The Silver Ancient Lamp was also snatched away by the other party. Lin Xian took out an array and sealed the Silver Ancient Lamp. Then he threw it into the black earth. He coldly snorted. Come out, dragon-shaped sword shadow. A dragon-shaped sword shadow rushed out from his body. He held it in his hand and slashed forward. Shocking sword chi, terrifying thunder, terrifying 9-yang divine body, all of them erupted at this moment. With one slash, the Silver Battle King was split into two. Chapter 26-29. What? Baiyin was killed? Galactic Warlord, who was fighting in the distance, roared when he saw this scene. He had been fighting to a draw with the dark red dragon in front of him. Therefore he could not help. However, he did not expect that Baiyin would be killed in such a short time. How terrifying was the other party? He did not dare to imagine. Whoosh. He turned around and fled. You want to escape? Can you escape? The dark red dragon sneered. He waved his dragon claws, and the killing array that was hidden in the surroundings was immediately activated. Countless murderous auras turned into streaks of sharp saber lights and sword shadows, rushing over. In an instant the Galactic Warlord was surrounded. "Get lost!" Galactic Warlord roared. The power of the galaxy flowed and several streaks of light blasted away the attacks. However, this delay allowed Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon to surround him one after another. It was time to end this. Lin Xian looked at the other party, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. "Oh, damn it, you can't kill me. If you kill me, the war tribe will not let you go." Galactic Warlord roared. He had never thought that he would be killed like this one day. This was something he had never encountered before. Lin Xian sneered. "I've already killed 3 war kings. One more won't make a difference. So what if I offend the war tribe? What can the war tribe do to me?" Buzz. As he spoke, mysterious runes flowed on his body. He grabbed the dragon-shaped sword shadow with both hands and quickly slashed it down. Boom. Boom. An intense battle broke out. After dozens of moves, Galactic Warlord's body was split in half. A soul tried to escape, but it was caught by the dark red dragon and swallowed. Dragon's flame refine. The dark red dragon's blood surged as it used the dragon's grand technique to completely destroy the soul of the other party. Soon the 2 war kings were completely destroyed. Lin Xian and the dark red dragon cleaned up the battlefield and collected all the storage rings and dharma treasures of the 2 war kings. They even took away the corpses. It was tens of thousands of miles away from here. The war tribe. The place where the longevity tablets of the 4 war kings were enshrined had also undergone a change. Cracks appeared on the longevity badges of the 4 people. Then they split into 2 halves and fell to the ground. This scene caused a great commotion in the war race. This meant that all 4 battle monarchs had been killed. "Damn it, who is it? Who did it?" The battle race expert roared madly. The 4 great battle kings were extremely powerful elite existences within their battle clan. They were the 4 geniuses who had the potential to become invincible kings in the future. But now he was actually killed by someone. The 4 battle kings were killed because they were chasing after that brat. Could it be that it was that kid who did it? Impossible. What ability did that brat have to be able to kill 4 great war kings? Damn it. Don't tell me that Immortal Palace's unmatched king took action? Humph, they have invincible kings, do you think we don't? Discussions and cold snorts could be heard. However, at this moment, a majestic voice came from the sky. "Get to the bottom of this matter before you take action." Yes. The war race's martial artists quickly gathered information. They swore that once they investigated, they would immediately take action. No matter who it was that killed their 4 great war kings, they would not forgive the other party. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon returned to the Black Earth and began to clean up the spoils of war. Among them, Lin Xian directly handed these matters to the dark red divine dragon and let it do it. He held the ancient silver lamp, and his eyes erupted with golden light. The Silver Battle King's soul imprint was engraved on the ancient silver lamp. He was going to erase it, plant his soul imprint on it, and then refine it. This was an ancient treasure. It was extremely powerful when used against enemies. However, Lin Xian was more concerned about its flame. This flame was extremely helpful for him to cultivate the 9 yang divine body. This was what moved him the most. Opening the heavenly secret divine eye, Lin Xian tore open a corner of the seal and quickly erased the Silver Battle King's soul imprint. The Silver Battle King's soul power was strong, and this ancient treasure had probably been refined by him for hundreds of years. Therefore, the imprint on it was very deep. However, Lin Xian's soul power was extremely strong. It was almost comparable to an invincible king. Coupled with his heavenly secret divine eye, it wasn't difficult to erase it. It was just a matter of time. Sure enough, in the end, Lin Xian successfully erased the Silver Battle King's soul imprint. However, at this moment, a sense of danger suddenly emerged in his heart. This was because he discovered that after the Silver Battle King's soul imprint disappeared, an even more terrifying soul attack rushed out from the ancient silver lamp. This soul was extremely terrifying, and it even carried an ancient aura. Not good. Lin Xian was shocked, and his eyes erupted with a biting cold golden light. Behind him, a pair of golden eyes appeared. It was like the eyes of the heavens, incomparably cold. His soul was also pushed to the limit. Floating light. Soul ignition. God's guidance. With 3 killing moves activated, Lin Xian blocked the unknown mysterious soul attack. Damn it, who are you? You actually killed the Silver Battle King? A furious roar burst out from the depths of his soul, bringing with it boundless power. However, under the heavenly secret divine eye, he couldn't cause any damage. This kind of eye? Could it be? Suddenly the soul let out a shriek. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and countless runes revolved in his golden eyes. They formed two golden vortexes, completely erasing the soul. He checked carefully, and when he found no danger, he heaved a sigh of relief. It was too terrifying. No one below the invincible king realm would be able to withstand that soul attack. Fortunately, his soul was strong and he had the heavenly secret divine eye. Only with the terrifying eye technique could he withstand it. He didn't expect the Silver Battle King to be so restless even after his death. There was actually such a killing move in the ancient silver lamp. It should be a wisp of soul left behind by an even more terrifying expert from the war tribe. Fortunately, it was only a wisp of soul. Under his heavenly secret divine eye, it was completely erased. Lin Xin held the ancient silver lamp happily and started to study it. On the other side in the war tribe, in the supreme divine palace, an invincible king suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes emitted a monstrous golden white flame that instantly swept across the world. At this moment, all the martial artists in the war tribe raised their heads, and their bodies trembled. They wanted to kneel on the ground. The heavens were invincible kings. What's going on? That seems to be the place where Lord Hundred Spirit is. Don't you know? The 4 battle kings of the war tribe were killed, including the Silver Battle King. The Silver Battle King was the grandson of Lord Hundred Spirit. Lord Hundred Spirit should have heard the news. No way, wasn't Ancestor Hundred Spirit in seclusion? He didn't even come out when they were fighting for the Yuhua immortal robe, but now he's so angry. Chapter 26:30. In the terrifying palace, an old man stood up. Countless silver flames danced on his body. Damn it, how dare you kill my grandson? How dare you snatch my 3,000 spiritual lamps? No matter who you are, no matter where you run to, I will kill you. It turned out that the ancient silver lamp did not belong to the Silver Battle King, but to this invincible king. White Spirit King said. However, he was very fond of his grandson, so he gave his treasure, the White Spirit Lamp, to the Silver Battle King. Moreover, he left a soul imprint on it. To be honest, he was not worried, because the 3,000 spiritual lamps were extremely terrifying. No one below the invincible king could fight against it. Even powerless kings would not dare to provoke it easily. Therefore, as long as the Silver Battle King took out the 3,000 spiritual lamps, he would be safe. He could even escape from the hands of an invincible king. However, who would have thought that his grandson would actually be killed by someone? Even the 100 spirit lamp was snatched away. This invincible king could not tolerate it at all. On the side of the war tribe, there was a torrential roar. However, Lin Xin did not care at all. At this moment he was in the black earth, controlling the white spirit flame. He was cultivating under the silver-white flames. The 9-yang divine body was divided into 9 levels. Lin Xin had the cultivation method for the first 3 levels in his hands. Every level was subdivided into 9 stages. Now, after more than 5 years of cultivation, Lin Xin had reached the 3rd stage of the first level. At this moment he was using the silver-white flames to head towards the 4th stage. The dark red divine dragon ate the corpses of the 2 battle kings and refined their qi and blood, absorbing them into its own energy. Not only that, he was also working hard to refine all the heaven-grade treasures of the other party. He had a lot of priceless treasures in his hands. Therefore, during the battle he did not need to use the abilities of the dragons. He only needed to control these heaven-grade treasures. This was very delightful for him. After flying for about 10 days, the Black Earth sent news that a human city had been discovered ahead. Hearing this, Lin Xin stood up and retracted the silver flames that filled the sky. The Crimson Divine Dragon also raised its head. Had they arrived? With a flash, the 2 of them left the Black Earth and quickly landed in the direction of a nearby human city. Greatwood City. It was a bustling city in the eastern wasteland. It occupied a vast area of over 1,000,000 miles. Could be said to be an abnormally terrifying behemoth. There were even invincible kings in this city. After Lin Xin and the dark red divine dragon landed, they paid the entrance fee and walked in. It was very lively inside. All kinds of martial artists, from low to high level, could be seen everywhere. Lin Xin even stumbled into 2 undefeatable emperors on the street. Although the other party didn't emit any powerful aura, Lin Xin could sense the terrifying pressure emanating from the other party. If it was before, he would have had to use the Great Dragon Sword Soul to resist this pressure. But now he had nothing to fear. Just the 9-yang divine body alone would be able to withstand this kind of pressure. As such, he calmly walked past the peerless emperors. The others widened their eyes in disbelief. Normally, even peerless mighty figures would have to take a detour when they saw an invincible king. However, the young man in front of them was so bold. Wasn't he unaffected? Who was he? Which family did he come from? For a moment, everyone was talking about it. Lin Xian's reputation was very strong in Jianghu, but it hadn't spread in the eastern wasteland. Moreover, even if the people of the sacred grounds knew of Lin Xian's name, not many of them had really seen him. Moreover, those people couldn't guess that Lin Xian would come to the eastern wasteland at this time. Therefore, for a moment, everyone was talking about Lin Xian's identity and made all kinds of guesses. Lin Xian found a grocery store and bought a map of the eastern wasteland. Then he asked for the location of this place. After coming out, his eyes flickered. This place wasn't far from the Yi family, but it wasn't close either. If he wanted to fly, it would take about 3 months. 3 months was a long time for ordinary people, but for a cultivator like him, it was almost the blink of an eye. Now, he would have to go into seclusion for several years. Lin Xian didn't plan to use the teleportation array. He planned to take the Black Earth and fly over. It just so happened that during these 3 months he could continue to use the silver flames to temper the 9 Yang divine body and make his body improve again. The two of them left Greatwood City and took the Black Earth to set off. They handed the map to Hey Tuesday. Lin Xian cultivated in peace. The dark red divine dragon also continued to refine the heaven-grade treasures. A month passed. Lin Xian was bathed in the silver flames. Every day he would let out a miserable scream. The dark red divine dragon's eyelids twitched wildly. Originally he wanted to borrow the 9 Yang divine body's cultivation technique to take a look. But now, seeing this scene, he decisively gave up on the idea. He didn't want to suffer the pain of being burned by the flames all day long. Moreover, he heard that he would have to be struck by tribulation lightning later. Just thinking about it was terrifying. In the blink of an eye, another month passed. Lin Xian could already withstand the flickering of the silver flames. At this moment, the 12 silver flames turned into a monstrous waterfall of flames that enveloped him. As for him, he cultivated the 9 Yang divine body in these flames. About 5 or 6 days later, the Black Earth suddenly stopped. A2 said, "Not good, we've been stopped." Did he stop them? What's going on? Lin Xian waved his hand, and the 12 silver-white flames floated back into the 100-spirit lamp. Whoosh! He walked out. The dark red divine dragon at the side also put away the black beads. Motherfucker, who dares to stand in our way? Could it be those people from the war race again? They gritted their teeth and walked out again. Sure enough, they saw 6 figures in front of them. They were very fast like ghosts. They rushed over quickly. The 6 figures were very mysterious. From head to toe they were wrapped in black mist. It was impossible to see their true form. What the hell? The dark red divine dragon frowned. It was actually mysterious people who came this time? Why did they have to hide their heads and show their tails to kill them? He sneered and was about to speak. However, in the next moment he was stunned. Because the 6 figures in front of them stopped not far away from them and didn't make a move. Instead they said coldly, "Since this path is blocked, the 2 of you should take another path." It didn't work? Another direction? What do you mean? Lin Xian frowned. This was the direction to the Yi family. Could it be that they wanted him to take a detour? You two were all here to make a living. Please understand us. We're just following orders. The 6 black-robed men said in a deep voice. Well, the other party didn't have any intention of making a move on him. Lin Xian wasn't willing to make a move either. Wasn't it just a detour? It wasn't a big deal. Besides, he could still cultivate for a while. Therefore, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon quickly left with a flash. Chapter 26:31. After entering the Black Earth, the dark red dragon muttered, "Damn, why is this so strange? Which sacred ground or sect is doing something here? How dare they block the way? Could it be that something happened in front? Or did they find some treasure? They don't know." Lin Xian shook his head. "Forget it, don't think too much." Next, they continued to cultivate. They began to fly around. However, after a few days, the Black Earth stopped again and they were stopped again. Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned and used his soul force to look outside. What's going on? It's these mysterious people again. The dark red dragon also frowned. Damn, what the hell is going on? Because in front of them, 6 mysterious people appeared again. Just like before, they were wearing black robes and were shrouded in black fog, making it impossible to see clearly. They lined up in a row and blocked the way. "The road here is blocked, please take a detour." They didn't make a move and just blocked the way. "Kid, what should we do?" The dark red dragon asked. "Detour." Lin Xian waved his hand, and the Black Earth turned around and quickly left. 3 days later, Lin Xian's face was completely gloomy. because in front of them 6 black-robed men appeared again and blocked the way. "The road here is blocked, please take a detour." "Damn. Is there no end to this?" The dark red dragon was also angry. "Damn, we've already taken a detour 3 times. In the end it's still blocked. What's the meaning of this? Are they playing with us? Or are these 6 black-robed men originally from the same group? Something strange." Lin Xian frowned. They originally thought that only one of the routes was blocked, but now it seemed that a mysterious person had directly blocked the entire area in front. Moreover, the other party didn't seem to be using a formation, but a man-made blockade. "Kid, this is very strange. This kind of man-made blockade consumes too many martial artists, and it's easy for accidents to happen. Can't they just use a formation directly?" However, these people didn't use a formation. Is this really strange? The dark red dragon also frowned and couldn't understand. "Unless they have some scruples? Should we still take a detour?" he asked. "No." Lin Xian shook his head and a cold light flashed in his eyes. It would appear that they had truly sealed off the entire region. This way, no matter where we go, if we want to continue moving forward, we will definitely clash with the other party. Since there would be a conflict sooner or later, what was the point of taking a detour? Understood. The dark red divine dragon nodded. This was the beginning of a battle. Whoosh. He walked out of the black earth together with Lin Xian. Seeing this scene, the auras of the 6 mysterious black-clothed men became even more serious. Together, it was like a black sea, exuding incomparable power. The surrounding void became congealed, and the pressure was so great that it was difficult to breathe. Clearly this was a show of force. They wanted to use strong pressure to make Lin Xian and the dark red dragon back off. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The blood and qi in his body surged, and a powerful force instantly shattered the compressed space around him. Seeing this scene, the expressions of the 6 people at the front changed. It seemed that the other party was an expert. The 6 of them looked at each other. Then, the black-robed man at the front walked out and said in a deep voice, "Friend, if it is inconvenient, please leave." Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned even more and said coldly, "I have already given you face 3 times and spared you 3 times. But you still dare to stop me? What, does this territory belong to your family? You still won't let the others leave? Of course, this is not our family's territory. But now it is under our control. How arrogant. The Yi family is in front of us. How dare you control the territory of the remote antiquity families?" Lin Xian sneered. The remote antiquity families were great emperor families. They were even more terrifying than sacred grounds and large sections. There were basically no other forces in the place where they were. Even if there were countless cities, they were all under the control of the remote antiquity families. But now, the black-clothed men in front of them were saying that this place was under their control? What a joke. Would they dare to go against the Yi family? We don't know what the remote antiquity families are. In short, no one is allowed to go forward. Anyone who dares to disobey will be killed without mercy. Speaking of this, the 6 black-clothed men exuded boundless killing intent. It soared into the sky like 6 peerless killing swords. "Are you threatening me?" Lin Xian sneered. "What if I insist on going forward?" Kill. The eyes of the black-clothed man in the middle suddenly shone with a cold light. With a roar, the 6 of them moved quickly. 6 unparalleled sword gleams slashed down, shrouding Lin Xian within. The 6 black-clothed men were extremely terrifying. When the 6 of them joined forces, they could kill a peerless almighty. But this time they slashed empty air. Lin Xian's body suddenly disappeared from the sky without a trace. The 6 black-clothed men's faces changed. Damn it, hurry up and defend. They did not expect Lin Xian to be so fast that he could evade their attacks. The black aura on the 6 black-clothed men trembled and formed 6 pitch-black shields. They connected to each other and formed a boundary to protect their bodies. Boom. Just as they finished doing all this, a huge fist appeared out of nowhere in the sky. It was as if a mountain was pressing down on them. The fist was unparalleled. It shone with a bright light and even had a sharp sword aura. In an instant, it arrived above the 6 black-clothed men and landed mercilessly. Kill. The 6 black-clothed men roared and waved their terrifying sword auras to meet the attack. They did not think that Lin Xian could fight against them. Boom. But when they came into contact with the fist, their faces changed. The reason for that was because that punch was simply too terrifying. It was as if the fist of a god was pressing down mercilessly. Their sword auras shattered into countless pieces in the sky and scattered in all directions. The 6 black-clothed men were instantly enveloped by the fist. When the fist disappeared, the 6 black-clothed men turned into a bloody mist and floated in the sky. Hehe, they really overestimated themselves. The dark red dragon sneered when he saw this. Even the war tribe's elites were no match for Lin Xian, let alone these 6 black-clothed men. Fighting against Lin Xian would only lead to death. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and flew forward with the dark red dragon. This time the two of them were very fast. They were like 2 bolts of lightning that streaked across the void. However, there were countless black-clothed men charging over from afar. That was because when a black-clothed man died, the other black-clothed men would know. There was a special mark in their bodies. As long as they died, it would explode and transmit information. Therefore, at this moment, all the black-clothed men knew that someone had barged in. Among them, there were a few who were obviously the leaders. They were emitting extremely powerful killing intent. They said coldly that they must kill the person who had barged in. They must not let anyone get close to the Yi family. Yes. Chapter 2632. They were all elites. If they worked together, it would not be difficult for them to investigate the area within a few million miles. Other than the men in black, there was no one else around. If anyone else was here, they would be shocked. What did they mean by not letting anyone get close to the Yi family? These people were indeed targeting the Yi family. But who were these people? How dare they target the clan of the ancients? Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon did not know either. This was because they were discovered not long after they flew. The other party had powerful artifacts and secret techniques. Even if they were hiding in the void, they would still be discovered. In an instant, countless people charged towards them. Just as well. I can use you guys as practice. Lin Xian used the 9 young divine body. His body emitted an unparalleled light as he walked between heaven and earth like a god of war. The dark red divine dragon's body also rolled and turned into a shocking divine dragon that covered the sky. Both of them were horrifying elites. It was not difficult for them to kill a late-stage 8-star mighty. Those men in black were no match for them at all. Take out our Dharma treasures. Angry roars could be heard. Suddenly, countless Dharma treasures danced in the sky. Killing arrays covered the sky and the earth and shrouded the front. However, they could not stop Lin Xian's fist at all. With one punch, heaven and earth shattered. The Dharma treasures in the sky exploded into a bloody mist. Lin Xian let out a long roar. A terrifying sword chi surged out of his body. As his arm fell, the sword chi also slashed down. It was like a giant sword that could reach the heavens. All the killing arrays around them were torn apart. The dark red divine dragon also let out a roar. It opened its mouth and spat out flames. At the same time, it waved its dragon claws. Divine lightning descended from the sky. The power was not something that the men in black could resist. Therefore, hundreds and thousands of men in black were killed in an instant. Seeing that no one stood up, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He walked forward with the dark red divine dragon again. However, after a few steps he frowned. That was because a sneer came from the sky. No wonder you dare to trespass this place. You are quite capable. Who are you? Playing tricks? Get your ass out here. Lin Xian frowned and roared angrily. His gaze turned into tens of thousands of sword lights, shattering the surrounding void. This sword chi was too terrifying. Even the mysterious person in the darkness had to focus to deal with it. With a cold snort, the dead black-robed kings on the ground all stood up, their bodies erupting with boundless bloody light. They came to life again and pounced toward Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. He was alive again. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon frowned, but they soon realized that something was amiss. These people were not resurrected but controlled by someone else. People from the Chasing Corpse sect. The dark red dragon snorted. Lin Xian frowned. They had seen this sect in the ancient tomb before. They were able to control corpses and were extremely terrifying. However, the members of the Chasing Corpse sect would usually only control one corpse, and that corpse would be cultivated by themselves. This was the first time he had seen someone controlling thousands of corpses to attack. In the sky, thousands of figures floated up and down. Each of them exuded a monstrous bloody aura as if they had turned into ghosts. They did not pounce immediately. Instead, they stood in the sky densely and surrounded Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. Kid, I'll give you a chance to live. Leave this place immediately and I won't do anything to you. Otherwise, you'll end up in a miserable state. You might even become one of them. There's no need for that. I have to take this path. I'm going to the Yi family for something. I can't go back. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Yi family? You want to go to the Yi family? The figures in the sky were stunned. Then they became ferocious and eerie. If that's the case, I can't let you live. Just die obediently for me. At this point, his voice became shrill as if he was a demon pouncing on its prey. Boom. Thousands of demons moved together and charged toward Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. Boom. A great battle broke out. While Lin Xian and the dark red dragon were fighting, another shocking battle broke out in the east. This battle was very fierce and cruel. It was not any weaker than the one on Lin Xian's side. Moreover, one of the figures was covered in golden blood. He was like a golden god of war. His power seemed to be even more terrifying than Lin Xian's divine nine-yang body. There were very few people in the younger generation who could reach this stage. Almost none. If there was one, it would be the Yi family's sacred body. After all, the sacred body had been passed down since ancient times and was incomparably sacred. Moreover, Yi Wudao had been cultivating it since he was young. It could be said that he was even more terrifying than Lin Xian's divine nine-yang body. That's right, the one fighting was Yi Wudao. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His body was stained with blood, and his face was extremely pale. However, his eyes were very cold. There was even a boundless killing intent. Beside him, 7 corpses had already fallen. Each of them was a peerless powerhouse. In the outside world, they were peerless powerhouses who dominated a region. However, at this moment he had become a wandering ghost. The ground beneath their feet was shattered. The blood of the peerless powerhouses was too terrifying. It sank into the earth and caused countless cracks to appear. A sinister wind blew in all directions and a rain of blood fell. It was a scene of apocalypse. Beside Yi Wudao were 8 or 9 figures, all of them shining with golden light. They were also Yi family cultivators. There were middle-aged men and elders. Without exception, they were all very powerful. However, they were also covered in blood. Some of them were even injured. At this moment, they looked around in madness. Damn it. Who the hell are you? How dare you attack the Yi family? Do you really want to die? Get out of here. I can let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, when I catch you, the Yi family will bring a peerless sacred weapon and wipe you out. Is that so? Wipe us out? You really are naive. Do you think I'll let you leave alive? Do you think the Yi family will know? Don't worry. By the time the Yi family finds out, we'll be long gone. We've already decided to kill Yi Wudao. We won't come out for 1,000 years. No matter how strong the Yi family is, do you really think you can find us? When the Yi family cultivators heard this, their pupils constricted. Yi Wudao's expression turned cold. His opponent had actually made such a plan. It seemed they really were determined to kill him. But who would want to kill him? Yi Wudao couldn't figure it out. The other clans of the primordial ancients? Or one of the top holy lands? He didn't know. He had a saint physique, and was the most important genius of the Yi family. Basically, no one dared to do anything to him. That was because if he died, the Yi family would definitely go crazy. They would use their supreme holy weapons or even extreme weapons to destroy their enemies. Therefore, even if they hated Yi Wudao, they wouldn't dare to make a move. But now, someone had actually dared to make a move on him. And it was a deadly move. Chapter 26:33. What? You're so naive. Of course, you can't let the sacred physique continue to grow. The experts in front of him were also covered in black mist, covering their faces. Their killing intent pierced through heaven and earth. Obviously, they were all peerless experts. Damn it, who is it? The elders of the Yi family roared. They had a few targets in mind, but they weren't sure. They couldn't believe that these people would dare to do this. Yi Wudao snorted. So, the person who ordered you is afraid of me? What a waste. It seems that he can't beat me in a direct confrontation, so he came up with such a dirty trick. Even if he succeeds, he's still a waste. Do you think that such a waste can ascend the path of a great emperor? What a joke. Yi Wudao knew that the person who killed him was jealous and afraid of him. He had a high chance of walking the path of a great emperor and succeeding. Obviously, there were other peerless geniuses who didn't want him to walk the path of a great emperor. Therefore, before he fully matured, he wanted to kill him. But was he that easy to kill? Kid, it seems that you know more than those old guys. Very well, you're a smart person. I'll give you a choice. Now kneel on the ground and accept your death. Don't resist and I'll give you a quick death. That way, even if you're killed, you won't feel too much pain. Otherwise, if you dare to resist and we catch you, your fate will be miserable. I heard that your blood contains supreme energy. I really want to see it and refine you into a pill. Ah. The mysterious people laughed crazily, their eyes burning with passion. Indeed, this was the descendant of a great emperor, and the most terrifying sacred physique among the descendants of great emperors. His physique and bloodline were definitely a supreme divine medicine. If they could get their hands on it, they might even be able to obtain the power of a sacred physique. Thinking of this, they became even crazier. Go. Kill him. Kill Yi Wudao. Boom. The dozens of supreme mighty beings on the other side rushed over as though they had gone berserk, causing the entire firmament to shatter. Protect Wudao. The 8 elders of the Yi family roared in anger and quickly counterattacked as well. Every single one of them was incomparably powerful. They were like golden giants, destroying everything in their path. Leaf Daodenier was even more shocking. His golden fists slammed into the almighty experts, causing them to cough up blood. However, these mysterious almighties were not to be trifled with either. Their strength was also very powerful. So for a while they fought very fiercely. The immortal king descends to the 9 heavens. Leaf Daodenier roared, and the terrifying projection of an immortal king erupted from him. He was like a mountain giant looking down on everything. Boom. With a single punch, the 2 peerless almighties who were charging at him were blasted into a bloody mist. The elders of the Yi family also used their ultimate skills. A few of them even took out their saints' fragments. He killed all the peerless almighties around him. Do you really think that the Yi family is easy to bully? These people from the Yi family were very strong. Even though they had fewer people, they still had the upper hand. Whoosh, the remaining people did not attack again. Instead they retreated. They let out long howls one after another. Hum in the distance, the sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. More than a dozen powerful figures appeared. More than a dozen peerless almighties. As soon as they appeared, they joined hands and formed one killing formation after another. Terrifying killing intent emanated from them. It was a terrifying spell formation which then shot toward Leaf Daodenier and the others. They were courting death. Elders, there was no need to hold back. Leaf Daodenier roared, and the projection of his immortal king blasted out in all directions. At this moment, Leaf Daodenier was so powerful that he surpassed the younger generation. Even the elders could not help but sigh at their inferiority. Damn it. Let's work together and kill the Saint Physique. The mysterious experts roared as well. They realized that Leaf Daodenier was too terrifying. None of them were his match in a one-on-one fight. Not even 2 or 3 of them working together. It would take 7 or 8 people working together to suppress him. Hum, a long spear streaked through the air, carrying terrifying thunder as it transformed into a lightning dragon. On the other side, a fan appeared, transforming into a mountain that pressed down from the sky. A fiery red greatsword and a terrifying axe appeared. One terrifying weapon after another descended from the sky, enveloping Leaf Daodenier. Leaf Daodenier's golden blood chi surged to the sky. He punched out, shattering the thunder spear, mountain fan and flaming sword. You want to kill me? In your next life. Leaf Daodenier was very powerful. The others were shocked and frantically retreated. Damn it. This guy was too terrifying. Was this the power of a Saint Physique? It was terrifying indeed. They had been entrusted to kill him. Originally, they thought that no matter how strong Leaf Daodenier was, he was only from the younger generation. With so many peerless almighties working together, how could they not kill him? But when they really fought, they realized that they were wrong. Their opponent was too strong. He was so strong that they could not believe it. With so many peerless almighties attacking him, not only did he not die, but he also killed many of their peerless almighties. His methods were heaven-defying. No wonder someone wanted to kill him. There were probably not many people on the Emperor Road who could be his match. But so what? Today he would die without a doubt. On their side, someone had also opened the Saint Fragment. It was a broken red hammer, but it emitted a monstrous Saint aura. It was the fragment of the Saint weapon. You want to compete with me in weapons? You're courting death. Leaf Daodenier snorted. He raised his hand and a bronze cauldron appeared above his head, releasing a myriad of auras. This was a celestial emperor cauldron replica. It was extremely terrifying and was a forbidden weapon that the Yi family had specially made for Leaf Daodenier. Sure enough, Leaf Daodenier activated the heaven and earth cauldron, releasing a supreme divine aura to fight against the Saint Fragment. Boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out, and a burst of energy swept out in all directions. Many peerless almighties were sent flying, coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. Leaf Daodenier stood there unscathed. It's like you want to kill me? Is that so? Right at this moment, a series of gloomy and cold voices sounded out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 4 figures appeared around him. They were 4 extremely terrifying and mysterious people, and their auras were terrifying. Each of them was a late-stage 8-star king. At that moment, the four of them joined forces and formed a domain that completely imprisoned Leaf Dao Denier. Damn it. When the elders of the Yi family saw this scene, their expressions changed. They attacked the four late-stage 8-star powerhouses one after another. However, they were currently restrained by countless peerless almighties, so they could not use their full strength for the time being. Chapter 26:34. Although he was powerful, he was not a god. This had put him in danger. However, as a saint physique, Yi Wudao would not submit. Kill. He roared angrily and used all kinds of ultimate techniques. The immortal king activated the celestial emperor cauldron, erupting with unparalleled power. After an earth-shaking battle, 2 late-stage 8-star kings were killed, and 1 late-stage 8-star king was severely injured. The other retreated with a pale face. Yi Wudao was not in a good state either. He was also seriously injured in this battle. Moreover, he had exhausted too much energy and was already an arrow at the end of its flight. Yi Wudao spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face was incomparably pale. He formed a seal with his palms, and the broken bones in his body quickly healed. The blood chi in his body kept rolling, repairing his injuries. The surrounding mysterious peerless mighty figures were astounded by this scene. Damn it, was he still human? 4 late-stage 8-star kings couldn't kill him even after joining forces? He even killed 2 of them and seriously injured 1. This method was too terrifying. However, there were also people who snorted coldly. So what? He was already an arrow at the end of its flight and didn't have much strength left. Let's attack together. This time we will definitely be able to kill him. These people sneered again and again. One by one they held their weapons and slowly approached. You want to kill me? Let's see if you have the ability. Yi Wudao took out 2 pills and swallowed them. A hint of blood red appeared in his eyes, and a volcano-like power erupted from him. Damn it. The expressions of those supreme experts changed. Damn it, his power. What did he eat? Stop him. Don't let him recover. These people attacked crazily. However, Yi Wudao ate the pills secretly concocted by the Yi family. These pills were very precious. Usually he couldn't bear to eat them. But now he couldn't care less. Sure enough, his exhausted energy was quickly recovering, and the others attacked crazily. However, the immortal King Phantom waved the celestial emperor cauldron and blocked all the terrifying energy. For a moment they couldn't stop it at all. Yi Wudao snorted coldly. The elders of the Yi family also heaved a sigh of relief. As long as Yi Wudao recovered, they would join forces and fight their way out. However, in the next moment their expressions suddenly changed. Not good, run. They cried out in alarm. Leaf Dao Denier's pupils constricted. Although he still hadn't fully recovered, he couldn't afford to be careless. Instantly, Lin Fan dodged to the side and dodged swiftly. At this moment he was using all of his strength and the power of bloodline was unleashed madly as well. At the same time he recalled the celestial emperor's cauldron to protect him. Even as Leaf Dao Denier took action, a hand descended from the sky. It was like the palm of a god, bringing with it a supreme divine might. Invincible King. The invincible king had made his move. The faces of the elders of the Yi family changed. Damn it, the other party actually sent King Lai Wudi to kill them. This time it was really dangerous. Thankfully, Leaf Dao Denier reacted quickly and decisively, drawing on all the power he could muster to avoid the attack. However, the palm wind still struck him, shattering half of his body. More than half of Leaf Dao Denier's bones were broken, and he slammed into the ground. Whoosh! He kept retreating. Crackling sounds came from his body as he quickly recovered. Damn it, it's an invincible king. His expression was extremely ugly. Do you really think you can escape? A cold voice rang out, and the sky was torn apart as an imposing figure descended. His terrifying aura was like that of a fiend god as he looked down. He was an invincible king. However, this invincible king was also wrapped in a black mist, making it impossible to see his true appearance. Clearly, he didn't want to reveal his true identity. Damn it. Who the hell are you? Aren't you afraid of the Yi family's revenge? The elders of the Yi family howled in rage. This invincible king was definitely someone important and might even be acquainted with them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have used a black mist to cover his face. The dead don't need to know so much. The mysterious invincible king said coldly. He slowly raised his hand. Now everything was over. His palm blotted out the sky, forming a 5-fingered mountain that enveloped Leaf Dao Denier. Leaf Dao Denier roared and used the immortal king descends to the 9 heavens. They fought until the sky fell and the earth cracked. Unfortunately, he couldn't escape. There was nothing he could do. Although he was strong, he was still a junior. Compared to invincible kings, he was still somewhat lacking. At the very least, he couldn't contend with invincible kings. "You're courting death." The elders of the Yi family roared, and the 8 of them joined forces to attack with the Emperor of Heaven replica. In the blink of an eye, they sent the invincible king's palm flying. Then the 8 of them surrounded Leaf Dowdenier and protected him. "Let's kill our way out." They poured all of their power into the Heaven and Earth replica. It was a forbidden treasure refined by a supreme sage, and was extremely terrifying. Now that the 9 of them were using all of their power, it erupted with incomparable power. "So what if you're an invincible king? Do you think we can't fight you?" The Yi family elders snorted. The invincible king frowned, and the faces of the others fell. They had underestimated their opponent. "Is that so? If one invincible king isn't enough, then what about 2? Another cold laugh rang out. As soon as the voice rang out, heaven and earth cracked, and a supreme divine might descended. "Not good." The faces of the Yi family members fell. Leaf Dowdenier's eyes shone with a terrifying light. A second invincible king had appeared. In order to kill him, the Yi family had mobilized 2 invincible kings. "Damn it, why hasn't the Yi family sent anyone?" The expressions of the Yi family elders changed. This wasn't the first day they were being hunted. They had been hunted for 5 or 6 days already. They had spread the news a long time ago, and logically speaking, the Yi family should have sent experts to rescue them. But now there was no news at all. "Don't count on the Yi family to save you. We've already set up an inescapable net to intercept all news. The Yi family doesn't know that you're being threatened. So you can die in peace." The second invincible king sneered. To be more precise, the second invincible king was a little strange because there were 2 figures. One was a beast and the other was a human. The human figure wasn't an invincible king, but a late-stage 8-star almighty. However, the demonic beast beside him was an invincible demonic king. The terrifying aura emanating from it caused the surrounding almighty to tremble. Tiger Flood Dragon. This was actually a tiger flood dragon. It had the upper body of a tiger but the lower body of a flood dragon. Its huge tail was constantly flapping. It was covered in scales and a pair of blood-red wings grew from its back. It looked very sinister. Chapter 2635. It was too terrifying. Everyone in the Yi family had ugly expressions. Yi Wudao's expression was grave. 2 invincible kings working together was something they couldn't handle. Unless they used other trump cards. However, who knew if there would be other invincible kings among them? Furthermore, the 2 invincible kings definitely had some shocking trump cards. Therefore, they didn't dare to fight anymore and quickly fled. They activated the Celestial Emperor's Cauldron replica, and 10,000 rays of light descended, enveloping them as they fled into the distance. "You want to leave? Stay here." The invincible king of the human race roared and punched out. A terrifying fist shot out like a meteor. The tiger WRM roared and spread its wings, spitting out a blood-colored bolt of lightning. The attacks of the 2 invincible kings collided with the heaven and earth replica, causing it to tremble violently. Yi Wudao and the Yi family elders coughed up mouthfuls of blood. However, they gritted their teeth and fled with all their might, not stopping at all. They definitely couldn't let them return to the Yi family alive. After the 2 invincible kings gave the order, dozens of peerless almighties rushed into the sky and chased after them. The great escape of 10,000 miles thus began. Logically speaking, the Yi family should have received the news, but this time, they had underestimated their opponents. Their opponents were too mysterious and their methods were too strange. At the same time, they were very careful and didn't get too close to the Yi family. Instead, they set up an inescapable net far away from the Yi family. It would take an ordinary king 1 or 2 months to fly this distance. It was extremely far. Therefore, the Yi family had no idea that someone would set up a trap there and block all information. They blocked off all paths to the Yi family. Anyone who got close to the Yi family would be stopped. Anyone who dared to resist would be killed. Furthermore, they secretly followed the people of the Yi family and used invincible kings to kill them. Therefore, for the time being, no one knew. The Yi family didn't notice anything amiss, not because they were careless, but because they felt that no one would dare to make a move against them. After all, they were a primordial clan with a strong foundation. They were a great emperor clan. Their clan had a supreme weapon to suppress them. Who would be stupid enough to make a move against such a terrifying force? However, there was someone who didn't know what was good for him and really made a move. This was also the reason why Lin Xian had encountered the mysterious man in black 3 times after changing directions. These people would not allow anyone to get close to the Yi family. Lin Xian was also blocked, so an intense battle broke out. A mysterious late-stage 8-star monarch was controlling over 1,000 terrifying corpses to battle Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon. However, he had still underestimated these two people. In the end, over 1,000 corpses were destroyed, turning into a bloody mist. This time, nothing was left behind. That late-stage 8-star monarch was also torn apart by the dark red divine dragon. Fumed, the dark red dragon heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian, on the other hand, had a grave expression on his face. Don't be careless and leave quickly. Someone else is coming. Indeed, through his soul power, he could sense that there were people rapidly approaching from tens of thousands of miles away. Damn it, he's really like a ghost that won't go away. The dark red divine dragon spat out a few mouthfuls of saliva, feeling extremely displeased. In any case, these late-stage 8-star kings are no match for us. However, his face turned green in an instant. Fuck invincible kings. Leave quickly. As he spoke, he swung his dragon tail, tore through the void and fled into the distance. Lin Xian also used the chaotic yin-yang steps. His entire body turned into yin-yang energy as he moved quickly in the sky. As soon as they left, a saber light tore through the sky, shattering the entire void. The terrifying saber light swept across heaven and earth. This saber was simply too terrifying. This was because it was slashed by an invincible king. Boom. Boom. Pung. Although the saber light did not hit the two of them, the terrifying shockwave still engulfed Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon. The two of them were bombarded by the energy shockwave and kept retreating. Fortunately, both of their physiques were very strong. Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body shone brightly, resisting the energy that filled the sky. As a member of the dragons, the dark red divine dragon's defense was also extremely strong. Although he was grimacing in pain, there were no cracks or wounds on his body. If someone saw this scene, their jaw would definitely drop. This was because even a late-stage 8-star king would not be able to escape from this saber strike. The invincible king who had rushed over was stunned when his saber missed. His face became incomparably gloomy. He attacked again, and the saber light that filled the sky turned into a torrent that spread in all directions. The two of you can't escape. Gong Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon did not delay. The two of them entered the black earth and flew at full speed, directly jumping through space. It was not easy for them to fight with an invincible king now. Wanna leave? Not so easy. In the sky, a middle-aged man in a blue robe appeared with a snow-white saber on his back. It was the invincible king who had attacked earlier. Looking at the escaping black light, he chased after it. The invincible king was very fast and caught up to the black earth. He raised his arm and a snow-white saber light flew out and slashed on the black earth. Bang! The black earth rolled and shattered the void. Buzz! Runes flashed on it, forming a formation that directly tore through the void and disappeared. Damn it, it's a teleportation formation. Seeing this scene, the invincible King Swordsman's expression changed. He did not expect the other party's spirit ship to be so magical that it could withstand his saber. Moreover, it could teleport. Million Saber Domain. He formed a seal with his palms, and a huge king domain spread out from his body, covering a radius of tens of thousands of miles. And it continued to expand. The biting cold saber light swept across heaven and earth, trying to find the other party's traces. But he could not find them. Damn it, they actually teleported such a long distance. He did not continue to use his domain. Instead, he took out a black flag from his storage ring. The flag waved, forming countless black fog. Countless mysterious men in black appeared. Go chase and search. You must find the two of them. You must not let the two of them escape. Inform me immediately after you find them. Yes, countless men in black half knelt on the ground. After hearing the order, they flew in all directions to search. No one can escape from the hands of the Million Saber King, let alone two ants. The two of them could kill a late-stage 8-star powerhouse. In the eyes of ordinary peerless powerhouses, they were incomparably terrifying powerhouses. But in the eyes of the Million Saber King, they were not worth mentioning at all. There was a huge gap between him and a late-stage 8-star powerhouse. Therefore, he did not take the two of them seriously. However, the other party's spirit ship was very magical, which surprised him a little. But that was it. In the void, light flickered and the black earth appeared. It was still intact. Chapter 2636. Even an invincible king had made a move. Fortunately, they had the Black Earth. Otherwise, they would really be in danger. It seemed that someone was targeting the Yi family. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. The corner of the dragon's mouth twitched. Which force was so bold as to make a move against a clan of the ancients? Did they not want to live anymore? Indeed, the consequences of angering the Yi family were terrifying. Something was wrong. Lin Xian shook his head. It didn't seem like they were attacking the Yi family. Instead, it seemed like they were sealing off the Yi family. To be precise, they were sealing off some kind of information. Indeed, the dragon nodded. The Yi family had an extreme weapon to suppress them. Even a sage wouldn't dare to behave atrociously in the Yi family. Therefore, no one dared to attack the Yi family. From the looks of it, they seemed to have other plans. Sealing off the Yi family's information? What exactly were they sealing off? Could it be that they didn't want the Yi family to know? The dragon frowned. Lin Xian's eyes suddenly lit up. Yi Dao Denier? Yi Dao Denier? The dragon was stunned, then understood. Did you mean that someone was going to attack Yi Dao Denier? It seemed like that was the case. Lin Xian said solemnly. The dragon took a deep breath. Heavens, they really didn't know what was good for them. Yi Dao Denier was a saint physique that only appeared once in tens of thousands of years. Once he appeared, even if he didn't become a great emperor. When he fully matured, he would be comparable to a great emperor. He could ensure the prosperity of the Yi family for tens of thousands of years. It could be said that he was the most important existence in the Yi family. Now, someone actually dared to make a move against him? Was he not afraid of the Yi family going crazy? If Yi Dao Denier died, the Yi family would really take out an extreme weapon and sweep the world. The dragon was right. A saint physique was a very mysterious physique. It was condensed from a great emperor's bloodline and was very difficult to form. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that one appeared once in tens of thousands of years. Anyone who matured would be comparable to a great emperor. How terrifying. Such a person could definitely protect the Yi family for tens of thousands of years. Was someone really going to attack Yi Dao Denier? The two couldn't believe it. It seemed that even the Yi family wasn't safe. This world was indeed crazy. After all, Leaf Dao Denier hadn't fully matured yet. Furthermore, they must have been plotting for a long time to find out where Leaf Dao Denier was, and why they had mobilized so many people to keep the Leaf clan under wraps. It was just that he didn't know which force had done it. Are they from other families of the remote antiquity? Other than the few of them, no one else would dare to make a move. Brat, this water is too deep. Even if an unrivaled king were to enter, he probably wouldn't be able to cause any waves. Let's hurry up and leave. The dark red divine dragon didn't want to get involved in this mess. If things went on like this, it would definitely be a clash between the clans of the ancients. In the end, even extreme weapons might appear. The two of them were simply not enough. However, Lin Xian shook his head. No. He had to find Leaf Dao Denier, or send word to the Yi clan. He and Leaf Dao Denier were friends, and the two of them often helped each other out. In fact, back in the Great Necropolis, Leaf Dao Denier had stood up for him on more than one occasion. Therefore, Lin Xian would not sit idly by. Furthermore, all of this was just speculation, and they couldn't be sure whether or not someone was trying to kill Leaf Dao Denier. Let's not talk about it. Let's leave first. Someone is chasing us. Lin Xian sensed spiritual energy fluctuations around him. He activated the Black Earth again and flew into the sky. At the same time, he activated the array and hid. This guy was really like a ghost that wouldn't go away. The dark red divine dragon looked outside and snorted. Lin Xian waved his sleeve and summoned the Bloodwing Bat King. He ordered the other party to capture a person without anyone noticing. Furthermore, the person had to be alive. Whoosh! The Bloodwing Bat King spread its wings and disappeared from the Black Earth. All of you, search carefully for me. Don't miss a single spot. Outside, countless black-robed men were quickly searching in all directions. Each of them was in charge of an area. They searched 100,000 miles, 200,000 miles, 300,000 miles. In any case, they had to find the person. Taoist Lai Hua's body was covered in flames. There was a fire python under his feet that carried him quickly. He was a mid-8-star expert, and he was also involved in the plan this time. Amidst the flames, there was also a black aura that shrouded his body, making it hard for others to discern his true identity. Forming hand seals, Taoist Lai Hua spread his soul power to search his surroundings. At the same time, he took out a small black mirror and shone it at his surroundings. This was an ancient treasure that was specially used for scouting. It was given to him by the mysterious organization for scouting purposes. He was extremely careful in his search because he knew that those two were extremely terrifying. They were capable of escaping from an unparalleled king. They were definitely not ordinary people. Therefore, he planned to report to the Myriad Blade King the moment he discovered something amiss. Gradually, he distanced himself from his companions and searched his own area alone. Suddenly, his body trembled as a bad premonition surged in his heart. What's going on? He activated the black mirror carefully and searched his surroundings. Suddenly, 3 blood-colored chains appeared around him and shrouded him, trying to bind him. Damn it, Scram. When he saw this scene, he was shocked. Could it be the 2 fugitives? The fire python beneath his feet quickly counterattacked. Its body was like a divine whip as it lashed out. Numerous flaming sword auras shot out from his body and slashed at the 3 blood-colored chains. At the same time, he wanted to send a signal. However, the next instant, his body was sent flying. Half of his body was directly sliced apart, turning into a bloody mist. Damn it, so strong. He was almost certain that it was those 2 fleeing people. That was because the other party was too strong. With his mid-8-star cultivation, he could not even block a single move. Retreating rapidly, the fire python coiled around Taoist Lai Hua and flew away rapidly. His severed body was reassembled. However, at this moment he started screaming. He could feel the blood in his body flowing out. His already injured body became even weaker. What is this? Blood-sucking technique? Chapter 2637. Bus. Taoist Flame was shocked and quickly sat up. However, he realized that there were 7 to 8 blood-colored chains on his body, sealing his entire body. He couldn't break free at all. Who are you? How dare you trap me? The black fog on his body had been removed, revealing his true face. Brr. Beside him, the Blood-Winged Bat King roared, scaring Taoist Flame so much that his face turned green. It was this monster. It was this monster that sealed him. And now, it brought him to a mysterious place. Who was it that wanted to capture him? Tell me what you know and I can give you a quick death. At this moment, footsteps could be heard from behind, followed by a cold voice. Who is it? Taoist Flame heard this and turned his head. He saw a young silhouette and a dark red snake coming from behind. Could it be that these 2 were the ones who had escaped? He was shocked. Kid, you dare to capture me? You're dead meat. Be obedient and let me go. Taoist Flame snorted. Bam. The dark red divine dragon slapped him, smashing half of his face into pieces. Damn it, you still don't know your situation. Now you're a prisoner. How dare you be arrogant in front of me? Believe it or not, I'll cut you up piece by piece and barbecue you. What organization are you from? What's your plan? Tell me everything. The dark red dragon said coldly. Half of Taoist Flame's face was smashed, and he was in so much pain that he was sweating all over. He roared. You want to get information from me? No way. I'll spit you to death. The dark red dragon spat out 2 mouthfuls of saliva on his face. Something magical happened. The other party's smashed face recovered immediately. Before Taoist Flame could react, the dark red dragon slapped him again. Instantly, the face that had just recovered was smashed again. How is it? Do you know how powerful I am now? If you know what's good for you, you'll end up in a terrible state. The dark red dragon walked up. Taoist Flame's body trembled, and a look of horror appeared in his eyes. What the hell, what kind of person is this? How can a spit have such a magical effect? I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just an ordinary almighty. I don't know any other secrets. I only know that I'm in charge here and I won't let anyone get close to the Yi family. I don't know anything else. You didn't know? The dark red dragon didn't believe it at all. Lin Xian waved his hand. There was no need to go through so much trouble. Just do it. As he spoke, a golden light appeared in his eyes. Activating his heavenly secret divine eyes, he forcefully seized the other party's soul and searched for information. Taoist Lai Hua let out a blood-curdling scream. How could he resist the Tianji god eyes? Soon, his body twitched, his eyes rolled back and he fell to the ground unconscious. The stars in Lin Xian's eyes dimmed as he frowned. This fellow really didn't know anything. He was grabbing. Lin Xian continued to give orders, and the Blood-Winged Bat King once again captured those black-clothed men. When he caught the 5th one, Lin Xian finally found some information. Obviously they were after Leaf Dao Denier. The person who was newly captured this time should be a leader, so he knew a lot more about them. Lin Xian searched the other party's soul and finally found out the truth. A large number of experts were chasing after Leaf Dao Denier, including many invincible kings. But who were they? What organization was it? He didn't know. These people seemed to have been hired at a high price. They didn't belong to any organization or family. There were at least 5 invincible kings chasing after Leaf Dao Denier. Leaf Dao Denier was most likely in danger. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He had personally experienced this kind of pursuit. Previously, the 4 warlords had chased after him, which had infuriated him. Furthermore, the 4 warlords were only peerless experts. But now, 5 invincible kings were chasing after Leaf Dao Denier. This was far more dangerous than him. No, he had to find Leaf Dao Denier or notify the Yi family. Lin Xian turned to look at the dark red dragon. Ruffian dragon, can you use a teleportation formation? At least send a message. I'll try. The dark red divine dragon started to set up an array formation. He was using a sound transmission array that spanned across space. It was a mystical formation that could transmit a message within 100,000 miles. Activate the formation. The dark red dragon placed the message into the formation and began to transmit it. But before long, a beam of light flashed tens of thousands of miles away. It was like a peerless sword light that cut through the void. The dark red dragon's expression changed. There was an interference formation and it was very terrifying. It was definitely an extremely terrifying ancient formation. Hurry up and leave, kid. We've been exposed. The dark red dragon withdrew the formation. Umph. A cold laugh came from the distance. Then, a person shot over like a meteor. It was the Myriad Blade King. Let's see where you two can run this time. Hurry up and leave. Lin Xian activated the Black Earth and sent in a large number of divine crystals. The Black Earth's energy erupted, and it shot into the distance like a bolt of black lightning. You want to escape in front of me? What wishful thinking. The Myriad Blade King sneered. He reached out with his hand, covering tens of thousands of miles and instantly pressing down. The 5 fingers were like 5 dragons roaring non-stop. This was the might of an invincible king. Boom. An earth-shattering sound came and a dazzling light shot into the sky. The Myriad Blade King's expression changed. Damn it. His fingers were knocked away. The other party had actually escaped from his palm. How could this be? The surrounding mysterious black-robed men were shocked when they saw this scene. That was the attack of an invincible king, who could easily defeat a late-stage 8-star king. No one below the invincible king level could resist it. However, the other party escaped. What exactly was the grade of this spirit boat? Everyone was shocked. The Myriad Blade King's expression darkened. Buzz. He quickly formed a seal with his palm. Myriad Technique Clone. In the void around him, figures appeared one after another. There were a total of 10,000 of them. They floated in the void, and their expressions were exactly the same as the Myriad Blade King's. Whoosh. A peerless blade light rushed out of the Myriad Blade King's body, shining in the sky. It turned into 10,000 blade lights and entered the 10,000 clones. Buzz, 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 buzz. The eyes of the clones burst out with cold light, and the aura of their bodies rose infinitely. Go bring him back to me. The Myriad Blade King waved his hand, and more than 10,000 clones moved quickly, covering the sky and the earth. It was the Myriad Technique clone. The Myriad Blade King was too terrifying. He had more than 10,000 clones. Yes, although they were just clones, their strength was even more terrifying than a late-stage 8-star king. After all, there was an invincible king's blade light in his body, and there should be a soul mark. These clones covered the sky and the earth as they searched. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon sat on the black earth and kept changing directions, leaving this place completely. After confirming that no one was chasing them, the two heaved a sigh of relief. Damn it, there were many invincible kings here. I'd better be careful. Chapter 2638. The news couldn't pass through at all. They must have set up a great formation. It blocked all information from being transmitted. Therefore, the Yi family hadn't received any news yet. If this dragged on, Yi Wudao would be in great danger. Send a message to the 6 protectors and have them bring the treasure over. We must find a way to inform the Yi family. We, on the other hand, stayed nearby and waited. Yi Wudao is being hunted. His first thought is to run towards the Yi family. Therefore, we will definitely meet Yi Wudao and the others nearby. Lin Xian decided to split up. On one hand, he would wait here. On the other hand, he would send a message to Immortal Palace and ask them to help. Firstly, Yi Wudao was his friend, so he had to save him. Moreover, by helping the Yi family this time, it could be said that the Yi family owed Immortal Palace a favor, and it was a huge favor. Having the clan of the ancients owe them a favor could be said to be extremely beneficial to Immortal Palace. Boom. Lin Xian sent a message to Xing Tian through the secret scroll. Immortal Palace. Xing Tian stayed here and prepared to gather strength with the 6 protectors. After all, they couldn't be careless when exploring the nest of 10,000 dragons. The level of danger was many times more dangerous than the ancient tomb of a saint. But at this moment, Xing Tian's brows twitched. A black ring on his finger suddenly bloomed with light. Whoosh! A scroll rune floated out, opened in the air and burned quickly. Xing Tian, I'm near the Yi family. Yi Wudao is being hunted by a mysterious force and his whereabouts are unknown. The Yi family still doesn't know the news. Hurry up and use all the power you can to inform the Yi family. The message was very short and it was quickly finished. However, when he heard this, Xing Tian's body trembled, and a hint of shock appeared in his eyes. The elders beside him were even more dumbfounded. This was a message from the palace master? That's right, it was indeed a message from the palace master. But what did I just hear? Yi Wudao is being hunted down? Heavens! That's a saint body. Who dares to hunt down the Yi family's treasure? The elders were all stunned and Xing Tian was even more shocked. Soon he came back to his senses and took a deep breath. You guys wait there. I'll go find the 6 protectors. He knew that the situation was serious. If Leaf Dao Denier died, the entire eastern wasteland would be thrown into chaos, and perhaps even the other 4 continents would be affected. This would be very disadvantageous to the exploration of the nest of 10,000 dragons in the future. But at the same time he was also a little excited. Apparently, Leaf Dao Denier was still alive, and the Yi clan didn't know about his death. If they helped, they would definitely be greatly indebted to him. Xing Tian sent a voice transmission to the 6 guardians. Soon they arrived at the Starry Hall. What's going on? Why are you looking for us in such a hurry? Was it news from the nest of 10,000 dragons, or was it about the Hall Master? At this moment, the 6 great protectors still didn't know exactly what had happened. Let alone them, the other great sects probably didn't know about it either. After all, no one would have thought of such a thing. Xing Tian quickly took out a voice transmission scroll. The 6 protectors were shocked when they heard Lin Xian's voice. Leaf Dao Denier was being hunted. What an eventful year. Ever since the appearance of the saint's tomb, I felt that something was amiss. For thousands of years, no saint had appeared. But this time around there were quite a few saints appearing all of a sudden. There were even undamaged saint weapons that appeared, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to split apart. Now someone was chasing after Leaf Dao Denier. I'm afraid it won't be peaceful. That's right. I think it's necessary to protect our Hall Master. After all, he's been in the limelight recently. The 6 great protectors thought even further. Not only did they plan to help the Yi clan, but they also thought about Lin Xian's safety. Indeed, Leaf Dao Denier's death might be a signal. Perhaps some mysterious family couldn't wait any longer. They wanted to make a move on the top young geniuses. The saints, saintesses, and princes of the various provinces were all top geniuses, but among them, the most famous was still Leaf Dao Denier. It couldn't be helped. Once he grew up, even if he couldn't become a great emperor, he would be on par with one. Such a terrifying growth would definitely frighten potential enemies. Then there was Lin Xian, who had killed quite a few holy sons and battle race experts. Could be said that he was in the limelight. This would probably anger the battle race, Tai dynasty, and Yin Yang sect. They might even send out invincible kings. Therefore, the 6 great protectors decided to send an invincible king to protect Lin Xian. Who would go? The 6 great protectors looked at each other, then fell silent. The 6 of them were in charge of different things. Whoever left would have a huge impact on Immortal Palace. Therefore the 6 of them sighed. It seemed that the 6 of them couldn't go. Let someone else go. Let's send someone from the 10,000 Immortal Pavilion. The 2nd great protector suggested. The great protector nodded. Alright, let's send Xiao Wu. If Lin Xian was here he would definitely be shocked. It wasn't the elders' decision, but what kind of place was the 10,000 Immortal Pavilion? Why hadn't he heard of it before? One had to know that he was currently in charge of Immortal Palace's headquarters. There were 9 halls under the headquarters. This was only what he could control at the moment. However, he knew that what he controlled was only the tip of the iceberg. As expected, Lin Xian had never heard of the 10,000 Immortal Pavilion mentioned by the 6 great protectors. Let's go. With the great protector's order, Immortal Palace's people began to move. In the vast mountains, one figure after another pierced through the void like a stream of light. Their speed was so fast that a chariot appeared under their feet. It was a golden chariot that looked extremely mighty and extraordinary. Its surface was engraved with mysterious runes that flickered with brilliant light. Atop the chariot stood Leaf Dao Denier and the other Yi clan elders. However, there were only 6 Yi clan elders left. 2 of them were nowhere to be found. From the looks of Leaf Dao Denier and the others, it was clear that they had already perished. Damn it. We'll remember this grudge. Once we get back to the clan, we'll tear them to shreds. One of the middle-aged men gritted his teeth. They had never been hunted down like this before. Leaf Dao Denier snorted coldly, his expression icy. He didn't say anything, but it was clear that his anger had reached its peak. Next to him was an old man whose eyes were bloodshot. When they got back to the clan, they would invite invincible kings to bring complete saint weapons and wipe them out. Ah, you want to wipe us out? Do you really think you have that chance? Right at this moment, a sneer sounded in their ears. Hearing this voice, the expressions of the Yi family's elders instantly changed. Leaf Dao Denier's body tensed up, and his eyes filled with shock. Their golden chariot also came to a stop. The reason for that was because a figure had appeared before them, blocking their path. It was a woman in a black dress. Her figure was enchanting and her face was bewitching. Chapter 2639. However, Yi Wudao and the others couldn't care less. Their opponent's aura was too terrifying. An invincible king. Another invincible king. Damn it. Invincible kings weren't normally seen, because they wouldn't come out and wander around. But now they had seen several invincible kings in the past few days. It was as if these invincible kings had all come out to kill them. Yi Wudao and the others didn't waste any time talking to these people. They could only use fierce methods to kill them. They didn't rush forward. Instead, they gave all their strength to Yi Wudao. The image of an immortal king appeared on Yi Wudao's body, and he attacked with the replica Celestial Emperor Cauldron. The void shattered, and a terrifying energy pierced through heaven and earth. The immortal king projection wasn't just Yi Wudao's power, but also the power of the other 6 Yi family elders. Therefore, the immortal king projection's power was no weaker than that of an invincible king. Coupled with the replica Celestial Emperor Cauldron, it was absolutely terrifying. A holy physique and an extreme weapon replica. No wonder you could escape so many people. The mysterious woman in the black dress laughed coquettishly. This weapon is not bad. Smart. Holy physique is also quite handsome. How about it? Do you want to spend a few nights with me? If I'm in a good mood, I might spare your life. The woman in the black dress smiled seductively. Bitch. Yi Wudao snorted coldly, and the immortal king projection charged forward. What did you say? The woman in the black dress face sank. She hated it when people said that word. Clearly, Yi Wudao's words had aroused her killing intent. Reckless brat. Today I'll let you know the true difference between you and invincible kings. The woman in the black dress waved her jade-white palms in all directions, colliding with the replica Celestial Emperor Cauldron. Clanging sounds rang out and the sky shattered. The two of them fought until the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. As expected of a forbidden weapon, its power was boundless. The woman in the black dress was very excited. At this moment she didn't use her full strength. Immortal King Roar. Yi Wudao formed hand seals and used his ultimate move. A terrifying sound wave spread out, like divine lightning from the 9 heavens. It exploded with destructive power and rushed forward. The surrounding void instantly shattered, as if it had been blasted into a black hole. The expression of the woman in black also changed. Although she was an invincible king, this ultimate move, combined with the joint attack of everyone from the Yi family, was simply too terrifying. It also posed a threat to her. 6 Dao Fist. At the same time, Leaf Dao Denier unleashed another fist technique, causing his fist to shine with dazzling light that filled heaven and earth. Moreover, the immortal King Roar didn't stop there either. The 2 ultimate mystical skills appeared together and rushed towards the woman in the black dress. Boom. Boom. The terrifying sound waves and vast amounts of energy caused the entire world to tremble. The surrounding earth cracked open, revealing large canyons. The surrounding mountains continued to shatter. Nothing could withstand the impact. Damn it. The woman in the black dress waved her jade-like hand, and a terrifying palm shadow resisted the energy that filled the sky. Her expression was incomparably cold because she realized that the other party had actually blocked her attack. This was simply too inconceivable. She was an invincible king tier, so it was easy for her to crush him. However, the other party had relied on the sacred body phenomenon, the strength of the elders, and the 2 ultimate techniques. He was actually able to contend against her, and he wasn't even at a disadvantage. Especially now, the other party hadn't completely activated the replica of the Heaven and Earth Cauldron, but he was already on par with her. If he activated that forbidden artifact again, she would probably be in danger. Damn bastard, why aren't you making a move yet? The woman in the black dress screamed at the sky. What? Is there anyone else? Seeing this scene, the eyelids of the Yi family elders twitched. Leaf Daudenier also swept his gaze in all directions. Black Widow, you're too useless. You can't even deal with these ants. What's the use of having you? In the sky, a sneer of mockery appeared, causing the woman in the black dress expression to turn cold. She shouted, "Don't be sarcastic. If you have the ability, come and try it. Watch how I kill him." A sword light lit up between heaven and earth like a peerless divine light, shattering everything. Not good, quickly block it. The expressions of Leaf Daudenier and the others changed, and they hurriedly activated the Immortal King Phantom. The Immortal King Phantom grabbed the Heaven and Earth Cauldron and kept enlarging, forming a huge mountain in front of him. With a clang, the peerless sword light collided with the Heaven and Earth Cauldron replica, emitting a deafening sound. Bang, bang, bang. The Immortal King Phantom, along with Leaf Daudenier and the others, kept retreating, stepping on the void and spitting out mouthfuls of blood. The peerless sword light was also blocked and shattered into pieces. I thought you were strong, but you can't beat them. What right do you have to laugh at me? Seeing this, the woman in the black dress sneered. Although they were on the same side, they were not convinced of each other's superiority. The new invincible immortal king was a middle-aged man in a green robe. He didn't say anything, but his eyes were fixed on Leaf Daudenier and the others. The sword light on his body became even sharper. Run. We can't stop two invincible immortal kings. The Yi family elder's expressions changed. Leaf Daudenier's eyes flashed and he transmitted, "Elder, use that thing. It's a good opportunity to kill the two of them." "Are you sure you want to use that thing?" The Yi family elders had grave expressions. Leaf Daudenier nodded solemnly. "Fine, we'll catch them off guard." One of the Yi family elders gritted his teeth. The other elders also had cold expressions. These two invincible immortal kings were very arrogant. "Kill them just like that. We'll stand guard for you." Leaf Daudenier took a step forward, his body shining with golden light. Although he was covered in blood, his aura was even sharper than before. "Two mere invincible immortal kings think they can kill me? You're not strong enough." What did this guy just say? The woman in the black dress was stunned, and so was the Supreme Sword King. Both of their minds were blank. How dare this guy provoke them at a time like this? Was he out of his mind? Did he have a death wish? "Black Widow, let's work together and capture him so we can report back," the Supreme Sword King said coldly. "Fine." The woman in the black dress nodded, and the two of them stepped forward, their auras erupting. Their domains covered the area, preventing their opponent from escaping. "You won't be able to escape, kid." "Escape? Why should I? You're the ones who should be escaping." Leaf Daudenier performed an incantation gesture, and a golden rune appeared on his forehead, shining with piercing light like a sun. Boom, boom. A deep voice came from within his body, as if something had awakened. "Go to hell." Light erupted from Leaf Daudenier's body. A strange thing happened. Outside the Immortal King's shadow, another figure appeared. As the figure appeared in front of Leaf Daudenier, it was blurry and illusory, as if it could be blown away by a gentle breeze. Chapter 2640. What was that? The two invincible kings' faces turned green. They felt their souls and lives tremble. The two of them didn't dare to be careless anymore. They turned around and fled. Their previous arrogance was long gone. The other party was only a 7-star mighty figure. How could he have such terrifying means? It could even threaten invincible kings like them. Boom. In the blink of an eye, their king domains were shattered. Boom. The two invincible kings spat out large mouthfuls of blood and fled. Boom. Another punch. The bodies of the two were impacted and turned into a bloody mist. Their heads fled crazily and reassembled in the distance. Boom. Damn it, what was that? What the hell was that? The two invincible kings screamed crazily. They had never been in such a sorry state. They had almost been killed. In the next moment they were scared out of their wits. That was because the hazy light figure had punched out again. With a bang, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The area within tens of thousands of miles was completely shattered. The heads of the two invincible kings also shattered. Their souls were instantly annihilated by this punch. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Blood rained down between heaven and earth. This was the blood of the invincible kings. As it fell, it pierced through the void and sank the earth. The surrounding forest collapsed crazily. Cough cough. Yi Wudao's body trembled. His face was abnormally pale without a trace of blood. The hazy figure in front of him disappeared again. Wudao. Seeing that the other party was about to fall, the Yi family's elders hurriedly supported him. You've exhausted too much. Hurry up and eat a pill. An elder took out a heavenly treasure. These were all sacred pills secretly concocted by the Yi family. Yi Wudao opened his mouth and swallowed it. His face had a trace of redness. The other elders said, Wudao, your hypocrisy is still too weak. It's too difficult to summon the ancestors' phantom now. It turned out that the hazy figure from before was the Yi family's ancestors' phantom. No wonder it was so terrifying. He killed 2 invincible kings with 3 punches. If news of this spread out, it would probably be shocking. One had to know that invincible kings were the strongest existences below the saints. However, at this moment they were killed by a 7-star mighty figure. Moreover, 2 of them were killed. This method could be described as a day. There was no other way. The situation was too critical. Leaf Dao Denier sighed. Thankfully, he could summon the projection of his ancestors. Otherwise, this battle would be very dangerous for them. The few of them relaxed, but not long after, their expressions became incomparably ugly. Hurry up and leave. They boarded the golden chariot and charged madly through the void. Because in the distance, an invincible aura came again. Another invincible king had arrived. Uhuhuk 3 figures appeared, standing in 3 different directions of the sky and the earth, stabilizing the space in one direction. They frowned as they looked at the bloody rain that was still falling from the sky. What was going on? Was this the blood of an unrivaled king? Damn it, the invincible king was killed. Furthermore, there were 2 of them. They investigated the situation around them, and instantly sensed that this was a rain of blood formed by the fall of 2 invincible kings. The Yi clan was indeed terrifying. They didn't have the strength to do so, so they must have used some incredible trump card. This kind of trump card would not be used easily. They must be very weak right now. Hurry up and chase after them. The 3 of them turned into streaks of light and charged into the distance. On the other side, after Lin Xian sent a message to Xing Tian, he had been wandering around nearby because he guessed that Leaf Dao Denier would definitely return in the direction of the Yi clan. However, he didn't meet Leaf Dao Denier, but he met some other people. 6 figures emitted resplendent light as they landed in the void and surrounded them. Target found. Target confirmed. Kill. The 6 figures said coldly as they stared at Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. What are these? Invincible kings? Lin Xian was shocked. No, they should be the clones of invincible kings. They have the soul imprint and aura of invincible kings in their bodies. So they were clones. Hearing that they weren't invincible kings, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Just 6 clones and they wanted to catch him? How laughable. Whooshed with a flash of light, one of the clones arrived beside Lin Xian and stretched out its hand, forming a cage and grabbing at Lin Xian. Cracked in an instant, he grabbed Lin Xian's body and wanted to take him away. Lin Xian snorted coldly and activated the 9-yang divine body. His body shook. Suddenly, a surge of power rushed out and shattered the clone's hand. The clone was sent flying by the power and kept retreating. The other clone shouted coldly, "If you dare to resist, I'll kill you without mercy." The 2 clones charged over. They punched at Lin Xian, causing the void in front of them to explode. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying energy blasted on Lin Xian's body. However, the 2 clones were stunned. Although they were clones, they had their own judgment. They realized that their fists were completely fine when they landed on the other party's body. The other party's body emitted a dazzling light, and mysterious runes flickered on it. How was this possible? The 2 clones were stunned. Lin Xian sneered. He stretched out his hands, grabbed the 2 clones' heads and then twisted them. Crack. The 2 doppelgangers were directly destroyed. On the other side, the dark red dragon also made a move and killed the remaining 4 clones. Dragon flames filled the sky, and terrifying heaven-grade treasures floated up and down. The dark red dragon had many heaven-grade treasures in his hands. At this moment he took them out and easily killed the 4 clones. Kid, hurry up and leave. These clones must have sent the news to that invincible king. Lin Xian nodded and the 2 of them quickly rose into the sky. Not long after, they changed directions, but they encountered another clone. Another 6 clones were easily killed. Just like that, they encountered another group of clones. Damn it, why are there so many clones? How many clones does that invincible king have? The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. Lin Xian was also shocked. Was the method of an invincible king so terrifying? Every clone was very terrifying. Fortunately, he was strong enough to escape. If it were an ordinary supreme expert, they would have been captured long ago. Wait, ruffian dragon, don't kill them this time. I want to give that invincible king a big gift, Lin Xian said. The dark red dragon captured the 6 clones of the invincible king. Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret divine eyes and used the divine guidance secret technique to control the 6 clones. Greetings, master. The 6 clones of the invincible king knelt respectfully on the ground and bowed to Lin Xian. If anyone else saw this scene, their jaws would drop. These were the clones of the invincible king, but at this moment they had betrayed him. Chapter 2641. Very good. Stand up. Lin Xian nodded with satisfaction. The 6 doppelgangers stood up and stood respectfully at the side. Then Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon left. The 6 doppelgangers were no longer respectful and returned to their previous state. However, they were still under Lin Xian's control. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon retreated to a safe distance. With his control over the doppelgangers, Lin Xian could see the situation through their eyes. Not long after, a powerful figure descended from the sky. It was the invincible king. Million Blade Monarch. The Million Blade Monarch slashed the void with endless blade radiance. As soon as he appeared, the 6 doppelgangers followed him. How is it? Where is he? The Million Blade Monarch asked. The 6 doppelgangers said. They had just escaped. Lead the way. This time they must not let him escape. The Million Blade Monarch waved his hand and was about to take action. However, at this moment, the 6 doppelgangers beside him had a strange smile on their faces. In the next moment, the 6 doppelgangers exploded. Not only that, each of the 6 doppelgangers had a sharp sword radiance. It was the dragon-shaped sword chi that Lin Xian had planted. Boom, boom. The explosion of energy enveloped the Million Blade Monarch. Screams could be heard as the sharp blade radiance tore the world apart. The Million Blade Monarch walked out. His body was charred black and his hair stood on end. His robe was torn and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. His body was trembling slightly. Ah, damn brat. I will kill you. I will definitely kill you. The Million Blade Monarch roared like a madman. He was furious. He did not expect that the other party could control his 6 doppelgangers to explode. With a cold snort, the surrounding spiritual energy gathered towards him like a tide. Soon, the Million Blade Monarch's body recovered. However, his eyes were extremely cold. His body released tens of thousands of blade radiances, shattering the surrounding mountains. Damn brat. When I catch you, I will tear you into pieces. The Million Blade Monarch's body swayed and quickly disappeared into the sky. On the other side, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon sneered. They knew that this bit of damage wouldn't pose a fatal threat to the Myriad Blade Sovereign, but that wasn't their goal. They just wanted to play dirty and suppress the other party's arrogance. What invincible king! Weren't they also battered and exhausted in their hands? Judging from the time, Xing Tian and the others should be arriving soon. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. The dark red divine dragon said from the side. Indeed, when they arrived, they could directly inform the Yi clan. At that time, there will be nothing left for us to do. Oh, is that so? It seems that you have informed others? At this moment, a cold voice came from behind Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. Hearing this voice, the 2 of them stiffened and their pupils shrank. In the next moment, they used divine steps and instantly disappeared, retreating into the distance. Damn it, someone actually came behind them. None of them knew. Lin Xian was also shocked. His soul power couldn't detect the other party. Who was it? The 2 of them turned around and saw a youth in white standing behind them. He appeared out of thin air like a ghost. Damn it, how did he appear behind us? The dark 5th divine dragon gritted his teeth. Brat, didn't you detect? Lin Xian was also surprised. He didn't think that someone could appear and find them. Therefore, he didn't activate his heavenly secret divine eyes, nor did he deliberately use his soul power. However, with the strength of his soul power, even if he didn't deliberately activate it, as long as someone approached, he would be able to sense it immediately. However, he didn't sense the other party's appearance before, which really surprised him. Whoosh, a breeze blew past and the white-robed man instantly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was on the left side of Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon. It was so strange and impossible to guard against. Damn it, this guy's speed. The dark red divine dragon frowned. Wind Mystique. To be able to do this, other than spatial mystique, it should be wind mystique. The other party didn't seem to use spatial power, so it should be wind mystique. Moreover, looking at the other party's appearance, it wasn't an ordinary wind mystique. The other party seemed to have some kind of bloodline power. Moreover, the other party's cultivation had reached the peak of 8-star king realm. One had to admit that this was a very difficult opponent. Who are the two of you? Come back with me obediently and I can spare your lives. The white-robed man said indifferently. Don't try to fight me. The two of you have no chance of escaping in front of me. Because the entire world is my domain. The entire world is your domain? Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? The dark red divine dragon sneered. He had never seen someone so arrogant. Whoosh. As soon as the voice fell, the dark red divine dragon jumped. Fuck. He quickly dodged, but he didn't dodge. A wind sword suddenly appeared in front of him and slashed toward him. Not only him but Lin Xian was also attacked. Two wind swords suddenly appeared in front of them and slashed their bodies in an instant. These wind swords were very terrifying. There was a powerful air current on them that was incomparably sharp and could cut through everything. Clang clang, there was a sonorous sound and the surrounding void shattered. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon were forced to retreat. Humph, I've said before that you can't resist in front of me. Before the white-robed man finished speaking, his voice stopped. The corners of his mouth twitched a little, and he looked as if he had seen a ghost. He discovered that although the two people in front of him had been forced to retreat, they didn't seem to be injured. How could this be? The white-robed man was extremely shocked. The two of them had been hit by his wind swords. How could they be unharmed? One had to know that he was a peak 8-star powerhouse. That attack just now wasn't his full blow. However, how could the two mighty figures survive? Not to mention that they were unharmed. These two people's physiques were very special. The white-robed man looked at the other party. When he saw the dark red divine dragon, his eyes flickered. The other party should be a beast with strong defense. But this kid? He looked at Lin Xian again and discovered that the latter's body was shining brightly like a god of war. The mysterious runes dazzled him. What a mysterious body tempering technique. There was deep shock in his eyes. If he could get it, wouldn't his defense be heaven-defying? The white-robed man's eyes were burning. He stared at Lin Xian. Kid, I'll give you a chance to live. Hand over your body tempering technique and I'll let you go. Otherwise you'll suffer a fate worse than death. You want my body tempering technique? Do you think you have the ability to do so? Lin Xian snorted coldly. The other party's speed and attack were indeed strange. However, it was impossible for him to kill him. Chapter 2642. As a result, his body's toughness and defense had improved once again. This was also the reason why he was able to block the opponent's attack. Kid, you're too reckless. Do you think that I won't be able to get it if you don't tell me? I'll just capture you and plunder your soul. The white-robed man's body instantly disappeared. Seeing this scene, the dark red dragon exclaimed. It opened its mouth and spat out flames that covered the entire sky. Lin Xian's body swayed lightly as he used the heavenly dragon's 8 steps. Together with the yin-yang reversal, the two miraculous footwork were gradually merged by him. There was a dragon shadow under his feet, and the yin-yang qi revolved around him. He also moved quickly, but the white-robed man laughed. It's useless. In front of me, the Wind Shadow King, the two of you can't escape. His voice was filled with boundless killing intent. A gust of wind blew between heaven and earth, and each gust of wind formed a sword qi. They were densely packed and covered the sky as they swept towards Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. Boom. Lin Xian waved his fist and punched out. He directly shattered the wind sword qi in front of him, and a vacuum appeared in the sky. You want to hurt me with just sword qi? You're too naive. He used the 9-yang divine body and was like a god of war, killing in all directions and shattering the surrounding heaven and earth. Not a single sword qi could get close to him. The dark red dragon also took out 3 heaven-grade artifacts. A black pearl floated up and down, a terrifying treasure mountain and a black spear. Under his control, it also shattered the heaven and earth. The combat strength of these two people was actually so strong. The Wind Shadow King frowned. Previously he thought that the other party was only strong in defense. But now, other than defense, the other party's attack was also so terrifying. Who exactly were these two people? Where did they come from? The Wind Shadow King's eyes flickered. This was too strange. The two of them must have some incredible secret. They must have mastered some peerless divine ability. He must capture the two of them alive. Binding of Wind. The Wind Shadow King formed a seal, and the gust of wind turned into chains of wind, sweeping towards Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. In an instant, 9 chains bound Lin Xian, binding him in midair. The dark red divine dragon dodged. Seeing this, Phoenix Shadow King laughed heartily. He raised his hand and continued to kill the dark red divine dragon. On the other hand, he walked towards Lin Xian. His speed was very fast. With a single step, he appeared in front of Lin Xian. Kid, do you see that? This is the difference between us. In front of me you are no different from an ant. The Wind Shadow King's face was filled with disdain. Don't worry, I won't let you die so easily. I won't kill you before I figure out your secret. A cold light flashed in his eyes. He reached out a hand wanting to grab Lin Xian's head. Lin Xian also raised his head, the corners of his mouth curling into a cold smile. Boom. On his body, the 9 young divine body erupted, and the 9 wind chains instantly shattered. Then he threw out a punch. Boom. This punch was very fast and very sudden. It rushed towards the Wind Shadow King with unparalleled power. The Wind Shadow King was shocked because he didn't expect the other party to be able to break the wind chains in an instant. Moreover, the other party was able to attack him. Could this be a trap? That's right, this was indeed a trap. How could mere 9 chains trap Lin Xian? Lin Xian was trapped because he wanted the other party to take the bait. At such a close distance, even if the other party had wind mystique, he wouldn't be able to dodge. This punch was earth-shattering. It was like a sun. The Wind Shadow King's body was also torn apart by this force. In between heaven and earth, the black hole slowly disappeared. The dark red dragon heaved a sigh of relief. It's over. Let this guy continue to act tough. Even an invincible king couldn't catch us, let alone a mere 8-star cultivator. Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. He was very confident in his fist. 2 ants, do you think you can kill me like this? Just as they were about to leave, a cold laugh came from between heaven and earth. Then, the 2 turned around and saw countless gusts of wind gathering in the distance, forming a figure again. The Wind Shadow King. His clothes fluttered and he wasn't injured at all. How could this be? The dark red dragon's eyes widened. Lin Xian also frowned. The power of the 9 young divine body was unparalleled. Even if this punch couldn't kill the other party, it would at least severely injure him. However, the other party was actually unharmed. This was really surprising. You underestimate me too much. Do you really think my wind mystique is something to be trifled with? The Wind Shadow King sneered. The 2 of you can't hurt me at all. Although he was an 8-star king, he was confident that he could fight against an invincible king. This was because his wind mystique was very special. His speed was very fast and he was almost invincible. Unless some extremely terrifying weapon such as the fragment of a saint, or some bloodline power, they would be able to hurt him. Other attacks were ineffective against him. This was because his body could turn into a gust of wind and dissipate at any time. He could reform again. Wherever there was wind, he would be there. This sentence wasn't a lie. As expected, the dark red dragon held a black spear and pierced through the other party's body. However, Lin Xian furrowed his brows. This was because he realized that the spear didn't pierce through the other party's body. Instead, the other party's body dissipated, forming a black hole for the spear to pass through. As expected, when the dark red dragon retracted the black spear, the other party's body recovered. It could be said that this spear didn't hurt the other party at all. A mere ant wants to hurt me? The Wind Shadow King stood with his hands behind his back, looking proud. The dark red dragon was extremely shocked. Damn it, how could this be so strange? I'll burn you to death. He spat out a sea of fire, enveloping the other party. However, the Wind Shadow King's body completely disappeared this time. Accompanied by the wind, he floated away and reappeared in a place where there were no flames. I've said before that this world is my domain. Damn it, this kid is too strange. This isn't an ordinary wind mystique. The dark red dragon shook his head. Yes, he should have the power of a bloodline or a very terrifying treasure in his body. Indeed, what he used was a mystique of dragons, but the other party was able to dodge it so easily. He was definitely not simple. Don't worry, I have a way to kill him. Lin Xian observed for a while and revealed a cold smile. So what if the other party could turn into wind and dodge the attack? His great dragon sword soul could even slash through the void. Not to mention a body that could turn into a gust of wind. Is this what you're capable of? It's just SOSO. Do you think that I can't kill you just because you can turn into a gust of wind? Lin Xian stood out, his body shining brightly. You still want to kill me? You can't even hurt me. What a joke. Ignorant. The Wind Shadow King sneered. The wind is formless, how can you kill me? As he spoke, his body kept changing, appearing in various positions at any time like a ghost. It was indeed shocking. Chapter 2643. Speaking of this, a destructive sword radiance exploded from his eyes. Similarly, terrifying sword chi surged out from his body. A loud dragon roar could be heard from within his body. At this moment, Lin Xian had turned into a sword god. A peerless sword god. Damn it, this kid's sword chi was so sharp. The Wind Shadow King's expression changed. He did not expect the other party to release such a terrifying sword chi. Could it be that the other party was a swordsman? He did not dare to imagine. An ordinary swordsman's attack power was very strong, but they were not very strong themselves. They usually relied on defensive treasures to resist. However, this kid's defensive power was shockingly strong. In his opinion, the other party should be an expert in close combat. But now the other party had released such a terrifying sword chi. This made him stunned. Who was the other party? You don't know your place. Let's see how you're going to kill me today. The Wind Shadow King sneered. Amir Almighty actually said that he wanted to kill him? How could he tolerate this? In the next moment his body flashed and he charged over. A green long sword appeared in his hand. It was completely formed by the wind. However, its power was extremely terrifying. In an instant he was in front of Lin Xian. The green long sword in his hand slashed down wildly. Lin Xian looked at this scene and sneered. He pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword and slashed down as well. It's useless. You can't find me. Seeing the other party attack, the Wind Shadow King's body turned into nothingness. No one could hurt him. Even an almighty could not hurt him under normal circumstances. Not to mention this kid in front of him. Whoosh, poof, the sword flew out and blood dyed the sky. The Wind Shadow King screamed and retreated. His white robe was stained with blood. At this moment there was a sword mark on his body. It almost split him in half at the waist. How could it be? Damn it, how could he hurt me? The Wind Shadow King's face was filled with shock and disbelief. One had to know that his body had already merged with the wind. The wind was formless and nothing could hurt him. But how did the other party hurt him? Ha, who asked you to act cool? Now you've tasted the pain. The dark red dragon sneered. He was well aware of the might of the great dragon sword soul. How could his opponent possibly dodge it? Moreover, this guy didn't even try to dodge. Wasn't he just courting death? Impossible. Damn brat, how did you do it? Could it be because of that sword? Radiance flowed on the Wind Shadow King's body and healed his injuries. His eyes were fixed on the Dragon Abyss Valley sword. He didn't think that Lin Xian's sword chi was strange. In his opinion, it was only the opponent's sword that had a problem. This long sword actually gave me a very dangerous feeling. It should be a Heaven Step artifact and not a low-level one. Could it be a mid-level Heaven Step artifact? Or perhaps, it was something that no one dared to imagine. But it was very likely that the grade was high enough to shock him. Otherwise he wouldn't have been injured. Brat, do you think you can hurt me with just a sword? I was careless this time. Now that I'm on guard, don't even think about hurting me. The Wind Shadow King's expression was solemn. He quickly formed a seal with his palms. Wind swirls heaven and earth. Boom, boom. Between the heavens and the earth, countless gusts of wind churned, turning into one figure after another. Doppelganger technique. The Wind Shadow King had also used his doppelganger technique. Every one of them seemed to be real, and his real body also disappeared into the sky. What a strange ability. On the opposite side, the dark red dragon was extremely surprised. He realized that it was difficult to differentiate between the real and fake doppelganger. This Wind Shadow King did have some skills. No wonder he was so arrogant. However, the dark red dragon wasn't worried. He knew that not only was Lin Xian's swordsmanship outstanding, but he also had a pair of mysterious eyes. He couldn't tell if it was real or fake, but he thought that Lin Xian should be able to easily distinguish between them. That's right. Seeing the tens of thousands of doppelganger charging towards him, Lin Xian had a strange look in his eyes. You actually dare to use doppelganger in front of me? You're really courting death. A golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes as he charged in all directions. Soon a smile appeared on his face. Because he had found the location of the real body. However, he didn't make a move. He wanted to bait his opponent. Kid, go to hell. At this moment, a cold voice could be heard. Behind Lin Xian, the Wind Shadow King's real body appeared. He wielded his long sword and stabbed towards Lin Xian's head. Lin Xian didn't turn his head. This meant that he didn't know which one was his real body. Now that he suddenly attacked, coupled with his speed, Lin Xian definitely wouldn't be able to dodge. I've been waiting for you." The moment the opponent appeared, Lin Xian suddenly turned around. At the same time he stretched out 2 fingers and pinched in front of him. With a clang, his fingers caught the opponent's green long sword. "What? How is that possible? You found out?" The Wind Shadow King was shocked and surprised. He didn't expect Lin Xian to turn around and counterattack at the last moment. This was something he didn't expect. But soon he sneered. "This kid is too arrogant and doesn't know what's good for him. Lin Xian only used 2 fingers to deal with him? What kind of fingers does he think he has? Go to hell." He shouted coldly and wanted to break Lin Xian's palm. However, he realized that Lin Xian's 2 fingers were abnormally hard, as if they were the fingers of God. His sword chi couldn't cause any damage to Lin Xian. How is that possible? The Wind Shadow King couldn't believe it. He wanted to use more strength, but in the next moment, with a clang, his Wind Shadow sword broke into 2. Lin Xian grabbed the upper half of the sword and slashed it forward. Not good. Seeing this, the Wind Shadow King's pupils constricted. His body suddenly turned into nothingness as he wanted to dodge. However, this sword contained the power of the Great Dragon Sword Soul and directly slashed his throat. With a puff, his head flew into the sky. Boom. Lin Xian punched out again. There was a dragon head on his fist and it directly exploded the Wind Shadow King's body. The head's face was filled with terror as it continued to flee into the distance. That was because he realized that Lin Xian was too strange and seemed to be able to restrain him. In a battle, the scariest thing was not that the enemy was stronger than you, but that the enemy could restrain you. This was basically unsolvable. That was why he wanted to run away. "You still want to run away?" Lin Xian sneered. He flicked a finger and pointed forward. This finger kept growing bigger and bigger. In the end it was 100 feet long. It was like a dragon that reached the sky and kept roaring. There were mysterious runes engraved on it and there was a biting cold sword light. With 1 finger, the Wind Shadow King's head exploded. He couldn't escape at all. "Damn kid, just you wait. I'll definitely kill you." In the sky, a soul floated into the distance, carrying a strong sense of malice. He was defeated. He was defeated today. However, if his soul escaped, he could still live. Although Lin Xian's methods were fierce, it was impossible for him to destroy his soul. Buzz. Chapter 2644. The Wind Shadow King screamed. "Damn it, why do you have a soul attack too?" He was crazy. His opponent was too strong. His physique was strong, his swordsmanship was outstanding, and he even had a soul attack now. Who was his opponent? He didn't know. His face was full of fear as he knelt on the ground. I beg you to spare my life. I won't dare to attack you again." He was really scared. "Spare you? That's the Buddha's business. My mission is to send you to the Buddha." As he spoke, Lin Xian snorted coldly. His soul fire instantly burned the Wind Shadow King into nothingness. The incomparably terrifying and strange Wind Shadow King was easily killed just like that. If anyone else was here and saw this, they would definitely scream. This was because even an invincible king might not be able to kill the Wind Shadow King. This was because the other party's methods were too strange. It would be very easy to escape. However, in Lin Xian's place, there was no way to escape. This guy wasn't rich and didn't have many amazing treasures. The dark red dragon grabbed the other party's storage ring and checked it. It curled its lips and was very dissatisfied. The storage rings of the 4 war monarchs were the ones that were rich. He was very happy. However, the Wind Shadow King was much weaker than the 4 war monarchs. Hearing this, Lin Xian rolled his eyes. It wasn't that the Wind Shadow King wasn't rich. It was just that the dark red dragon was too greedy. After seeing the storage rings of the 4 war monarchs and the saint, it was naturally dissatisfied when it saw the other supreme beings. In fact, the Wind Shadow King's storage ring could be considered a treasure trove in the eyes of other supreme beings. However, Lin Xian didn't care about this. These resources could be counted by the dark red dragon. What he was really excited about was the other party's movement technique. One had to know that he had the Great Dragon Sword Soul. The Great Dragon Sword Soul was not only powerful, but it was also good at mimicking. As long as he had seen other divine abilities, he could use the Great Dragon Sword Soul to execute the other party's divine ability. Moreover, the power of the divine ability might be even more terrifying than the original version. Apart from the unique bloodline martial skills that he was unable to execute, he was able to execute the rest of the martial skills after inspecting them. Therefore, he closed his eyes and recalled the previous battle in his mind. The corners of his mouth curled up into a smile because his body could also turn into nothingness to dodge the attack. Of course, with the 9-yang divine body he didn't need to do so. But in times of danger it could still save his life. At this moment the sky split open, and a hand reached out and enveloped Lin Xian. The appearance of this palm was very sudden, without the slightest sign. Therefore when he appeared, he gave the dark red dragon a fright. Lin Xian frowned as well. In the next moment he immediately imitated formless wind. His body turned into a gust of wind and quickly escaped from these fingers. Therefore this palm strike naturally missed. Soon after, a figure descended, bringing with him a sky full of blade light, unparalleled in the world. Because he realized that the Wind Shadow King had been killed. The divine ability that the other party used was very similar to the Wind Shadow King's. Why is this kid so strange? Damn, he's really haunting me. Lin Xian's face darkened when he saw that it was the other party again. He didn't expect that the Thousand Knife King would find him again. As expected of an invincible king, he was able to find his traces so quickly. However, he sneered. How did it feel to have a clone? If you dare to chase after me again, it won't be as simple as tricking you. Damn kid, you're courting death. It would have been better if he didn't mention this matter. Now that he did, the Thousand Knife King was about to explode. His doppelganger was actually being controlled by someone else. His entire body was charred black. This made him so angry that he went crazy. Kid, don't think that you can pose a threat to me just because you control a few clones. That thing can't hurt me at all. Today is the day you die. As he spoke, he slapped Su Chen again. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian didn't resist. His body instantly turned into a gust of wind, drifting with the wind and appearing in another direction. He had to admit that this move was very effective. However, he couldn't display the Wind Shadow King's strange speed. That was because it was condensed by the Wind Shadow King's bloodline power. However, Lin Xian had the Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and the Chaotic Yin-Yang steps. In terms of speed, he wasn't inferior at all. His figure instantly dodged the Thousand Knife King's dozens of knife lights. No wonder he dared to be so arrogant. His speed was also good. However, do you think that you can escape? The Thousand Knife King was really angry. He waved his hand and the Thousand Knife domain instantly enveloped the area. This time he definitely wouldn't allow Su Chen to escape. Boom. The sharp knife light flashed and turned into a torrent, instantly slashing towards Su Chen. Su Chen moved quickly, but this time the opponent's knife light was too shocking. It slashed his body and sent him flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood. It was too terrifying. This was also because he had the 9-yang divine body. If it was before, this knife would probably have split him in half. He was fine. Kid, your physique is very strong. I don't know what divine ability you've cultivated. But it doesn't matter. When you die, all your divine abilities will be mine. The Thousand Knife King was also very envious of Su Chen's physique. Screw you. Lin Xian spat out a mouthful of blood and roared angrily. The sword light on his body suddenly exploded. He pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword and quickly charged over. Ruffian dragon attacked together. Buzz. The biting cold sword light swept through heaven and earth. Lin Xian opened the 5 seals of the ancient dragon abyss sword, and its power was unparalleled. Seeing this scene, the Thousand Knife King was surprised. He was also a swordsman. The sword was unconventional. A swordsman was simply unorthodox. It was impossible. Only the knife was the way of the king. At this point, the Thousand Knife King pulled out the blue long knife on his back. It was like a starry sky spinning in the sky. Only the knife was the master of hundreds of weapons. The knife slashed down and a river of stars flooded the sky. The knife light filled the sky and cut open the entire sky. Clang. With the 5 seals and the power of the dragon sword soul, Lin Xian resisted. With a clang, he was still forced back. However, this was already very terrifying. An almighty being was able to resist an invincible king. If others saw this, their eyeballs would definitely fall to the ground. This was too heaven-defying, wasn't it? One had to know that not to mention an almighty being, even a late 8-star king wouldn't be able to block a single slash. The Thousand Knife King was shocked that Lin Xian could block it. Damn it, this kid had to be eliminated. He realized that this guy was very strange. He didn't seem to be weaker than Yi Wudao. She naturally knew that someone wanted to eliminate Yi Wudao because they were afraid of his talent. Once he grew up, he would be very terrifying. Therefore, she wanted to eliminate him before he grew up. Chapter 2645. This was because he realized that the kid in front of him was equally terrifying. If he allowed the kid to continue growing, he might not even be able to sleep peacefully in the future. Therefore, he had to kill the kid today to prevent future trouble. Kid, I have to say that you're really amazing. Even I suspect that you're a top saint. But unfortunately, you met me. I won't let you live today. The Million Blade King's expression was ferocious. Boom. He slashed out with his blade, and the bright blade light instantly tore apart the ancient Taoist robe. However, the Million Blade King was shocked to discover that under the Taoist robe, dense runes appeared on Lin Shen's body. It was extremely mysterious. With a clang, it collided with the rune's body, producing a clanging sound, but it wasn't damaged. However, this shocking power still sent Lin Shen flying for 3,000 miles. Kid, are you okay? The dark red dragon exclaimed. The power of an invincible king was not to be underestimated. Moreover, Lin Shen had just started cultivating the 9-yang divine body, so he could not unleash its full power. Oh, I'm fine. Lin Shen stood up. Dozens of bones in his body were broken, but at this moment they were recovering. His face was extremely pale, but his eyes were shining with incomparable light. He blocked it. He actually blocked the attack of an invincible king. This made him extremely excited. The gap between him and the invincible king's sword was very big. It was 2 major realms apart. Under normal circumstances, an almighty could not even block the aura of an invincible king. However, he could block the attack of an invincible king. Moreover, his 9-yang divine body had just broken through to the 4th stage recently. Otherwise, it was very likely that his body would have been blown apart by that strike. However, he now felt a strong sense of danger. This was probably not the full power of his opponent. An invincible king was indeed terrifying. Seeing that he did not split Lin Shen's body open, the Million Blade King snorted coldly. Kid, let's see how many times you can block it. Ruffian Dragon attacked together. Lin Shen held the Dragon Source sword in his hand and attacked again. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon also charged over. The two of them used great divine abilities and great techniques. All kinds of terrifying light enveloped them as they fought a great battle with the Million Blade King. On Lin Shen's side, the Dragon Source Ancient Sword, the 9-fold Thunder Sword, the 5 Elemental Sword, and the Primal Chaos Exterminating Sword were all executed by him. At the same time, he used another of the War Clan's ultimate techniques, the Heaven Battling Divine Fist. Although he did not possess the Battle Clan's bloodline, he possessed the 9-yang divine body. Thus, when he unleashed the Heavenly Battle God Fist, it was also extremely frightening. In fact, it was even more terrifying than when the 4 great battle kings used it. On the other side, Dark Red was controlling the 3 Heaven Tier artifacts. Together with the great abilities of the dragons, they were fighting. His body abruptly expanded to 100 feet long as he continued to roll and roar. However, the Myriad Blade Monarch was truly too powerful. As an invincible king, his strength far exceeded that of Lin Shen and the Dark Red Dragon. 1 against 2, not only did he not fall into a disadvantageous position, he even gained the upper hand and gained an absolute advantage. After dozens of moves, Lin Shen and the Dark Red Dragon were sent flying again while vomiting blood. Many cracks appeared on their bodies as blood dyed their bodies red. Damn it, this is not good, kid. An invincible king is too terrifying. We can't fight against him now. The Dark Red Dragon's blood surged as it repaired its body. On the other side, Lin Shen used the longevity art to absorb the energy in the sky. The 9-yang divine body emitted crackling sounds as it healed his wounds. Go. Lin Shen summoned the Bloodwing Bat King and the 3 of them attacked again. However, this time they were still pushed back, and their injuries were even more severe than before. Their expressions were ugly. However, the Myriad Blade Monarch was even more shocked. One had to know that he could kill people of this level with just a glance. But now he had attacked more than 100 times and his opponent was only injured. And he was not dead. He could not believe it. He had never encountered such a strange thing in thousands of years. Damn it, who the hell is this kid? Why did he feel that his physique was not inferior to the Yi family's saint physique? Could it be that he was also a genius of the Yi clan? He even suspected that he was a hidden peerless genius of the Yi family. Otherwise, how could he be so strong? One had to know that even the saints and saintesses of the large sects and sacred grounds could not fight against him. But this kid in front of him had broken this rule. Damn it, even the 3 of them could not kill him. Kid, take out your saint artifact and kill him. The Dark Red Dragon gritted its teeth and used the saint artifact. Lin Shen shook his head. He did not want to fight and had to leave quickly. The other party probably had something like the saint artifact. Moreover, the other party was an invincible king and was indeed stronger than them. They had to leave and find Yi Dao Denier. You want to run? Can you escape? The myriad blade monarch sneered and chased after them. Lin Xian flipped his palm and took out an ancient silver lamp. He waved it gently and silver flames flew out. There were a total of 12 floating between heaven and earth. In an instant, the myriad blade monarch screamed because his outstretched palm touched the silver flame and burned instantly. In fact, his entire palm had been burned off. Blood and bones were exposed. The pain caused his expression to change. Damn it, what kind of flame is this? He was too shocked. He did not expect that the other party would have something that could hurt him. It seemed to be an ancient treasure. Could it be the legendary 3,000 spiritual fires? The myriad blade monarch was shocked. He had seen this flame in ancient books, but he had never seen it before. He did not expect that the other party would have such a treasure. Damn it, he snorted and did not dare to take it head-on. Curved blade light bloomed all over his body, forming a terrifying light as he quickly dodged. However, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon took advantage of this opportunity to enter the black earth and fly away. The myriad blade monarch waved his hand, and the myriad blade domain kept rolling. Even if the other party could use the 3,000 spiritual fires to block him, the other party could not break through his domain. As long as he was in his domain, he could easily kill the other party. Dang. The myriad blade domain bloomed with light, and endless blade light mixed with the black earth. It caused the black earth to roll and tremble. Damn it, this domain is too annoying. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. Kid, give him a shot. Lin Xian nodded. He threw out some divine crystals and the black earth bloomed with light. With a whoosh, a black beam of light shot out and shattered the blade light. It tore through the myriad blade domain and disappeared. How is this possible? They actually escaped. Seeing this scene, the myriad blade monarch's face was full of shock. 2 7-star kings had escaped from his hands and more than once. This time it was a slap to his face. Chapter 2646. Just as he was getting excited, 12 silver flames came to his side again and ignited him. The pain made him grimace in pain. Damned flames, extinguish them. He was furious. He used his ultimate technique, and the biting cold saber light resisted the flames that filled the sky. In the end, he extinguished the 12 flames. However, his body was dripping with blood and white bones could be seen in many places. I won't forgive you. I will catch you and tear you into pieces. The myriad blade king roared angrily. He opened his mouth and absorbed the spirit chi within tens of thousands of miles to repair his body. Then he soared into the sky and chased after his opponent. This time he had already locked onto his opponent. He would not let his opponent escape again. Oh no, that guy is chasing after me. The dark red dragon's expression changed drastically when he sensed the scene behind him. He did not expect to be targeted by the other party this time. Let's go. Lin Xian controlled the black earth and kept changing directions. However, the other party kept locking onto him. Just like that, the two sides began a great escape and a fierce pursuit. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. The myriad blade king chased after him relentlessly. Lin Xian and the dark red dragon's faces were gloomy. The myriad blade king was so angry that he vomited blood. To be honest, he had gone crazy. He wished he could find a rock and smash his head to death. After chasing for half a month, he could not catch up to his opponent. What a fucking irony. Who was he? He was an invincible king, the myriad blade king. An invincible king. Just by hearing the name, one would know that he was at the peak of the king. In the era when the saints did not appear, they could control the entire world. However, 2 7-star kings had escaped from his hands one after another, and they had injured him more than once. That deeply provoked the myriad blade king. A cold light appeared in the myriad blade king's eyes. The hand seal on his hand changed again, and a red stream of light appeared on his body. It caused his speed to suddenly explode. It was clear that he had used a secret technique. Fuck. That guy is catching up. Give him a shot. The dark red dragon roared angrily. Then he also threw out a handful of divine crystals. Immediately, a black beam of light flew out and blasted behind him. Bang. Behind him, the Million Blade King screamed as he was sent flying. Many of his bones were broken, and the blood in his body was roiling. He spat out a mouthful of blood. He was too shocked. The reason for that was because he had never imagined that his opponent would actually be able to injure him. What exactly was the grade of this spirit boat? How could he be so powerful? Brat, I didn't expect you to have so many treasures. Now that you're dead, all of them are mine. Crackling sounds came from the million-blade monarch's body as it quickly recovered. At the same time, his eyes were bloodshot as he charged over again. Indeed, he realized that the other party had too many treasures. First it was the silver flame. Now it was the black spirit boat. Both of these items could injure him. If he could obtain them, his strength would be greatly enhanced. Ignorant ant, it's a waste for such a treasure to be in your hands. Hand it over obediently. Behind him, he slashed out streaks of sharp saber light, which quickly blasted forward, causing the black earth to tremble continuously. Inside, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon were also affected. Their faces were gloomy. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. Damn it, if it wasn't for the huge cost, I would have directly blasted him into pieces. Indeed, the black earth's attack required a lot of energy. Open the space array and teleport us out. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. The dark red dragon shook his head. No, this time he is locked onto us. If we teleport, he will teleport over too. We have to think of a way to kill him. Kill him? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He still had the Saint's Fragment and Flower Protector in his hands. The dark red dragon also had the Saint's Fragment. If he crazily unlocked the seal, it wasn't impossible for him to fight against the other party. However, it was still difficult to kill the other party. After all, the other party was an invincible king. He was very powerful. With his current strength, it was really not easy to kill the other party. However, at this time, the black soil floated over and said, I have an idea. However, it consumes too much energy. What is it? Lin Xian asked quickly. As long as there was a chance to kill the other party, it was fine even if he had to pay a huge price. The black earth had many functions. One of them was to suppress a person's cultivation. Of course, it could only suppress the cultivation of those below the saint level. Suppress the cultivation? You mean you can suppress the cultivation of an invincible king? Lin Xian was shocked, and the dark red dragon's eyes lit up. What are we waiting for? Hurry up and do it. Damn it, suppress his cultivation and torture him to death. How much can we suppress? Lin Xian asked. He was also excited. The black soil thought for a while and said, in theory it can be suppressed to the same level as you. However, the cost is very high. Of course, it can also be suppressed to 8 stars. Soon, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon understood that this function could indeed suppress one's cultivation. Moreover, it could be suppressed to 7 or 8 stars. However, the energy required for the two was not the same. After Lin Xian heard the energy, he gasped and his eyelids twitched. This consumed a lot of energy. To suppress the cultivation to the same level as him, it would probably require half of his resources. This was after he killed so many powerful people, obtained their storage rings, and obtained many treasures in the ancient tomb. If it was in the past, he probably wouldn't even dare to have such thoughts. After thinking for a while, Lin Xian took a deep breath and suppressed his cultivation to the late 8-star level. An invincible king was too powerful, but if he fell to the 8-star level, even if he was only at the late 8-star level, would he still have a way to kill the other party? Okay. The black soil nodded and prepared to activate the array. This result directly consumed a quarter of the resources in Lin Xian's hands. This caused him to feel pain in his heart. One had to know that a quarter of the resources in his possession was a vast amount of divine crystals and precious treasures. Damn it, I hope this invincible king's storage ring won't disappoint me. Lin Xian gritted his teeth. He swore that he would get back the resources he lost from the other party. The black earth was mysterious and unfathomable. It was left behind by the 4th-generation successor of the dragon sword. There were many functional arrays inside. Soon, the black soil activated the array to suppress the cultivation. He floated over and said, I just need to lure this guy in. Lin Xian nodded. His eyes flickered. He wasn't afraid that the other party could cause damage after entering. Because when he first entered the black earth, he found many corpses. There were many invincible kings inside. So many invincible kings couldn't break the black earth even if they joined forces, let alone the million-blade monarch. Chapter 2647. They had been chased all the way and the other party was so arrogant. This time they were going to pay back all the anger they had suffered before. Okay. Lin Xian nodded and directly controlled the black earth to fly upwards. When he reached the 9th heaven, he stopped. Behind him, the Thousand Knives King sneered when he saw this scene. Running upwards? Unless you escape from this world, you will definitely die. His figure flashed and he chased after him. Not long after, he found that the other party's spirit ship had stopped there. What's going on? Not running anymore? Could it be a trap? He scanned his surroundings and found no enemies. He sneered, and his gaze fell on the spirit ship in front of him. Could it be that he was in despair? Very likely. He revealed a cruel smile. No matter who it was, being chased by an invincible king like him day and night, he would have broken down long ago. Ka. The cabin door of the Black Earth opened, and a dark red figure walked out. It was the dark red divine dragon. After the dark red divine dragon came out, he looked around and saw the Thousand Knives King not far away, revealing a contemptuous smile. Damn old fart, how dare you chase after me? Get lost. Otherwise today will be the day you die. Hearing this, the Thousand Knives King was furious. A snake dared to speak to him like that? You don't know death. I'll skin you alive later. With a tap of his foot, he instantly rushed out like a bolt of lightning. Seeing this scene, the dark red divine dragon pretended to be afraid and quickly ran into the Black Earth. However, it did not close the cabin door. All of this was to trick the Thousand Knives King into coming in. Sure enough, the Thousand Knives King did not hesitate and directly entered the Black Earth. Let's see where you can run today. He was too excited. As long as he entered, the other party would have nowhere to go. Then he would be able to kill these two ants as he wished. Ah! Kneel down obediently and accept your death. After the Thousand Knives King entered, he saw Lin Xin, and his smile became even wider. Because this kid had a lot of treasures on him, and he wanted to take a few cultivation techniques for himself. But soon he was stunned. This was because he discovered that the other party didn't scream in fear as he had imagined. Instead, he revealed a cold smile. The dark red snake beside him laughed even more arrogantly than him. Ah, are we dead meat? I think you're the one who's going to die. Old bastard, quickly kneel down and kowtow to us 100,000 times. This emperor can still consider letting you die a quick death later. Otherwise, I'll let you know what torture is. Courting death. At this point, the other party still dared to say such words? The Million Saber Emperor flicked his finger, firing a sharp saber glow. It grew in size, turning into a streak of divine rainbow as it hacked forward. Lin Xin and the dark red divine dragon executed their movement techniques and dodged swiftly. At the same time, the dark red dragon roared and activated the array formation. Soon, the Black Earth was lit up with countless runes, encapsulating Lin Xin, the Crimson Godly Dragon, and the Million Sabers Emperor. Seeing this, the Myriad Blade Monarch frowned and sneered. A blue battle armor appeared on his body. Above it, the piercingly cold saber light flashed. A mere array formation, what can it do to me? He couldn't care less about it. Unless it was a formation set up by a sage, it could kill him. Otherwise, there was no chance at all. How could these two have a sage's formation in their hands? However, soon he was stunned. The overwhelming attacks he imagined did not happen. The surrounding array formation flickered incomparably, forming a strange space and domain. Even the surrounding scenery changed. It was as if they had left the spiritual boat and arrived in a strange space. Surrounding them were vast mountains and primeval forests. In the distance, there was a Milky Way waterfall falling from the sky, producing a rumbling sound. It was a scene of paradise. Where was this? The Million Saber Emperor frowned, his eyes emitting a piercingly cold light. Illusion? He carefully guarded his soul, but in his heart, he was even more disdainful. As a peerless saber artist, his mind was extremely tenacious. How could a mere illusion confuse him? Kid, do you think you can scare me by using an array formation? You're too naive. Now you can go to hell. The Million Saber Emperor drew the blue saber on his back and slashed out. Disillusionment Milky Way slash. When the saber slashed out, it was as if a starry sky of the universe was charging over. Lin Xin took a step forward, and his 9-yang divine body bloomed with light, as if he was a god. He waved his fist and used the heaven-fighting divine fist. The terrifying fist illuminated heaven and earth and directly charged forward. Boom, boom, boom. The fist and saber light collided, producing a shocking sound. In the next moment, the Million Saber Emperor screamed. He discovered that his saber light had been shattered by the other party's punch. How was this possible? The Million Saber Emperor's eyes widened, his face full of shock and disbelief. Just a day ago, he had beaten the other party until he vomited blood and kept running. The other party did not dare to face him head-on. But now, the other party had shattered his saber light with a punch? This was simply too shocking. Could it be that the other party's strength had undergone an earth-shattering change in one day? He had also reached the invincible king realm? No, impossible. It was definitely not like that. The Million-Saber Emperor shook his head frantically. What a joke, it took him nearly 2,000 years to reach the invincible king realm. The other party could reach it in one day? What a joke. Perhaps even the ancient emperors did not have such ability. Damn it, what was going on? Illusion, it must be an illusion. The Million-Saber Emperor roared crazily. He guessed that he might have fallen into an illusion. The previous scene was all an illusion. Damned illusion technique, unseal it for me. Countless saber lights rushed out of his body, cutting through the void and slashing in all directions. As a saber user, his saber intent was very powerful. Therefore, he was confident that if he attacked with all his strength, he could definitely break this illusion. It's useless, stop struggling. This was not an illusion at all. The 1-pound dark red divine dragon also walked out, sneering. Old bastard, I said that if you dare to come in, you will die. Since you have come to die, then don't blame me for being impolite. The dark red divine dragon waved its dragon claw, and a black pearl appeared above its head. As it moved, the black pearl kept enlarging. It was like a black sun, burning fiercely and smashing forward. Damn snake, get out of my sight. The Million-Saber Emperor was trembling with anger. A snake dared to look down on him? The long saber in his hand slashed out again, turning into a sky full of stars that collided with the black sun. An intense collision sound rang out, and the sky full of light exploded, so bright that it was difficult to open one's eyes. The Million-Saber Emperor screamed in horror. No, impossible. He realized that a snake could actually compete with him? They were evenly matched. What was going on? Chapter 2648. The Million-Blade King was stunned. The two of them broke through from the Almighty Realm to the Invincible King Realm in one day, surpassing the cultivation of others by 1 or 2,000 years. How was that possible? Even an immortal pill could not do that. No, there must be a reason. There must be a reason. The Million-Blade King tried to calm himself down. Yes, the array. They activated the array just now. It must be because of the array. Could it be that this array could provide energy to make one an invincible king? What kind of array was this? It was too scary. If there were more of them, wouldn't they be invincible? The Million-Blade King looked terrible, as if he had eaten a dead rat. Suddenly his eyelids twitched. No, my power? He was surprised to find that his cultivation was no longer at the Invincible King realm. Damn it, what was going on? He was too shocked to notice it before. But now he realized that there was a force between heaven and earth that suppressed him. It made his cultivation fall from the Invincible King realm to the 8-star King realm. This was impossible. My cultivation is being suppressed. He finally found the reason. It turned out that it was not that the other party had become stronger, but that his cultivation was suppressed. He was suppressed to the 8-star King realm. It was the effect of the array. The Million-Blade King understood immediately. No wonder the other party dared to be so arrogant in front of him and kept provoking him. It turned out that it was to lure him in and suppress his cultivation. There was actually an array that could suppress the cultivation of an invincible king. This shocked him. But at the same time he was relieved. Fortunately, it was not that the other party had become an invincible king. In this way this dilemma could be solved. The next moment he looked at the two and said coldly, "You can suppress my cultivation. I have to say that your means are really amazing. However, do you think that you can contend against me just because of this? Even if I have fallen to the 8-star King realm, I am still stronger than you. It is also easy for me to kill you." Indeed, in his opinion his strength had weakened, but he was still a realm higher than the other party. The other party was just an ordinary 7-star Almighty, while he was a 8-star King. In addition to his combat experience and trump cards, he had completely surpassed the other party. Therefore he wouldn't lose this battle either. "Even now you still want to kill us?" The dark red dragon sneered. Lin Xin's voice was also cold. "I've already killed more than one late-stage 8-star King tier. So, do you have any last words? If you can tell me your plan and the mastermind behind it, I can consider giving you a quick death later." Courting death. Lin Xin's words thoroughly infuriated the Myriad Blade Monarch. Lin Xin's confident manner infuriated him. Killed with a cold shout, the Myriad Blade King charged over with a sky full of blade lights. He was really mad. He had to kill these two despicable people in front of him. Only then would he be able to vent the hatred in his heart. "Since you want to die, then don't blame me." Lin Xin's expression turned cold when he saw his opponent charging at him again. He executed the heaven-battling divine fist. The terrifying fist blasted forward, causing the entire world to tremble. Terrifying shattering sounds could be heard as the space in the sky continued to shatter. The saber light around the thousand-blade sovereign was also shattered into pieces. This was the heaven-battling divine fist. Combined with the power of the nine-yang divine body, it was extremely terrifying. Damn it, this kid's fist is so scary. The myriad blade king's expression changed drastically. He didn't realize it when he was an invincible king, but now that his cultivation was suppressed, he realized that his opponent was too strong. No one below the invincible king tier could be his opponent. Damn it, he actually felt a trace of fear in his heart. I don't believe it. I'm an invincible king, and my methods are heaven-defying. Even if my cultivation realm falls, I can definitely kill an ant. The myriad blade king kept hypnotizing himself. His aura was getting stronger and stronger as if it was going to break through the sky. However, there were mysterious runes between heaven and earth that firmly sealed his cultivation. He couldn't break through it all. Damn it, taste my venomous dragon spike. The myriad blade king took out a treasure from his storage ring. It was a black venomous spike that was as long as an arm. It was covered with black scales, looking extremely ferocious and terrifying. Buzz. The myriad blade king formed a seal and quickly activated the venomous dragon spike. The venomous dragon seemed to have come alive as it continued to grow. It turned into a black dragon that was 100 feet long and roared in the sky. Kill him. This was a heaven-grade treasure that was extremely terrifying. It sealed the soul of a flood dragon. Sure enough, after the venomous dragon spike transformed into a flood dragon, it roared, and a terrifying demonic sound resounded between heaven and earth. A pressure that came from the soul was quickly produced. Kid, go to hell. The myriad blade king roared with a ferocious expression. This flood dragon's soul was a powerful demon king, and it was the soul of an invincible demon king. It was sealed inside by a saint and formed into a treasure. It was extremely terrifying. He didn't believe that the other party could withstand the soul of an invincible king. After the flood dragon's roar, another loud and clear sound resounded between heaven and earth. This sound was several times stronger than before. Between heaven and earth, invisible waves of air rolled, and the myriad blade king's body trembled. His face became terrified. Damn it, what was that sound? It was actually the roar of a dragon. He didn't believe that it was released by the venomous dragon spike. Because the venomous dragon spike only sealed fine dragons, and there was a world of difference between them and real dragons. A mere flood dragon dares to be arrogant in front of me? The dark red divine dragon floated in the sky, his eyes filled with disdain. He roared again and his voice shook the 9 heavens. Damn it, it was that snake. He could actually release a dragon's roar. The myriad blade king's eyes widened, and his face was filled with fear and shock. Previously he thought that the other party was just a snake, but now it seemed that it was definitely not the case. The other party's dragon's roar was too terrifying. It was even more terrifying than the invincible flood dragon. What was the other party? Could it be that it was really a dragon? He didn't dare to imagine. Were there really dragons in this world? Other than the legend of the nest of 10,000 dragons, he had never seen a real dragon appear in this world. While the myriad blade king was shocked, the venomous dragon spike in the sky also trembled non-stop. Although that soul was an invincible king, how could it compare to the dark red divine dragon in terms of aura and pressure? At this moment, the light on the venomous dragon spike dimmed a lot. Damn it, even if it was a dragon, so what? In the face of absolute strength, everything would be destroyed. The myriad blade king grabbed the venomous dragon spike and stabbed out. Between heaven and earth, countless black flood dragons rushed out. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.